Hello, Orville Nation. How are you guys? Hello, Pflugerville. Hello, Stephen Klein. Hello, Fortian. Hello, Jarmo. Hello, Mike Satterfield. Fortian is also on the panel.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
How are you doing, my friend? How are you today?
Yeah, really, really good. Really good. I got to go to the beach today, so that was really lovely. And I heard some good news, so that's interesting. What about you?
Oh, wow. Do you want to share good news?
Hmm. Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Good news or bad news? Some people are here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So we're waiting for LJ was going to co-host with me tonight, and she's going to be coming in a little bit, and we're waiting for a few people to straddle in. But how is the UK, my friend? How is Cornwall?
Absolutely loving life. Cornwall's doing really well. England's doing quite well. The UK's a bit fractured at the moment. Each individual nation of England of the UK, sorry, is doing its own thing, and I don't really like that. I think it would be better if we were. I'm a bit of a one nation guy when it comes to England. Sorry, again the UK. It is England, but yeah, I would prefer we were all doing the same thing. But everything's going in the right direction, and I think that's the important thing. If it wasn't going in the right direction, I think I'd be very, very worried right now, and I can understand anyone that is.
Sure, sure.
Mm.
Tally ho, says Stephen. Tally ho.
Pip, tell you how, old chum. Well, yeah, uh, yeah, that's not how we speak at all. Most of us, especially in the southeast, we either drop our H's or T's. They're both completely up to the
You're
user.
like, you say like alio, right? You just like don't say the T almost. You
Well,
suggest the T,
we'd
right?
probably go, oi, all right, what's going on, old son, eh? And what they say down in Cornwall, you honestly, none of you would get it, I'm sure. Um,
How do they say something in Cornwall?
so the way that they would like greet each other a bit, right, what's on? Yeah, you, yeah. And I love it. I absolutely love it. When I first come down, people used to say, all right, and I'd be like, all right, just expecting that kind of response. And they were always like, well, yeah, you? It's nice. But yeah, they've got cut up words like what's on and directly, which is a little bit like the Spanish, mañana, mañana. No, I'll do it directly. PJ, you have once again muted yourself.
How the hell did I do that?
I don't know, but it happened. And don't
All
worry,
right.
I was here to catch it this time.
Nice, man.
You're welcome.
um, all right. So yeah, we're waiting for a few people to come in. And I want to say hello to Philip Gaming, our actor friend. Hello, Philip. And
Philip
I
Gaming.
want everybody who's in here who hasn't subbed to Fortean yet, please do. He has
Appreciate
got a
that.
brand new channel, and he's kicking ass with his new channel. He's off to a great start. And Philip, you've got your wrench, so please go ahead and put in your gaming channel, my friend. Hello, Louise. Hello, Louise, and Louise is in your neck of the woods.
Oi,
How are
oi,
you,
how you
Louise
doing?
Sparrow?
Yeah, happy days, happy days. Well, just if I can do a quick plug, I might as well. Every
Please do.
Monday at the moment, until things change, until I go back to work and stuff, it'll go on a different day. But at the moment, every Monday, about 7 p.m. my time, which I think is 11 in the morning in Eastern, we have a show, which is me and Adega talking high strangeness. This coming week, we're doing ancient civilizations.
Oh, wow. So you're doing it with a Dega every week.
Yeah, man, we enjoyed
That's
ourselves so
great.
much. Yeah, you know what? It's really really good fun. We've both got the right teeth to chew into these subjects, and there aren't that many people that can really sift through a load of 14 um, craziness and high strangeness, and then sit and chat with someone who has like a chaotic mind. Adega's got all that, so it's good.
Wow, Adega. Yeah, I love Adega. Wow. Um, okay, so that's awesome. So that's every Monday at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. UK time, right?
7, I think 7 UK.
Oh, 7 UK. Okay, so
Yeah,
7 UK is 2 p.m. Eastern
is it?
and 11 a.m. Pacific.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always get them two mixed up. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, coast to
So
coast. Yeah.
awesome. Wow. Now, yeah, so guys, we're here to talk. So everybody's heard the big news, obviously. Everybody's heard the big news. I heard that there was something. Well, I think a lot of the people knew it. I heard there was some news coming. I think that there's some misinformation being put out there as well.
Yeah.
With regards to there was some misinformation put out there as well about Star Trek in general. I don't know. Maybe listen. I mean, we heard about that Kirk, about them recruiting somebody to embody Kirk.
Yeah.
It's possible if they are. What was his name again?
What, Anson Mount?
No. No. The Cannavale. I'll find his name. Anyway,
right.
Yeah. So if they're gonna have a Captain Pike series at some point, it's possible that they might introduce Captain Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first news we had of this was, and I'm going to show you guys. I have it right here. I'm going to share the screen. Jake Cannavale. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is the first news we heard a couple of days ago about somebody reprising Kirk. And this is from Bounding Into Comics. What did you think when you heard? You heard about this, right?
Yeah, I did. I didn't think that was going to mean that this chap was going to be front and center of a new show. We've all, let's be honest, we've all actually expected that a Captain Pike show was going to be a thing, because anyone that watched season 2 of Discovery came to the conclusion that Anson Mount was actually quite good as Pike, whether they liked the show or the season or not. And a lot of people, myself included, actually, said, you know what, I'd love to see, a Captain Pike show, as long as the right people are giving it a go. And I'm okay with everyone that would be on board. I'm okay with the aesthetic. I'm okay with all those things. Now, this young man playing Kirk, I don't really have a problem with it. I've seen Chris Pine, and I actually quite liked Chris Pine as Kirk. I must be really unusual in those sort of terms. So if he comes in at some point, I mean, he's probably not going to be a regular by any stretch of the imagination, but if he comes on board for an episode or two as a what would he be, a lieutenant commander at that point? Fine. He doesn't look bad. I'm sure he's an okay actor, so it wasn't a big shock or bad deal for me, if you know what I mean. And a lot of people took it that way, though.
Yeah. Listen. It all depends. I think it all depends how things are done, really. And the problem we're all having with this, of course, is that we know who has been in charge, and we've seen what they've been putting out, and that's where the real issue is. The issue is not the series. The issue is and will always be the writing. Yeah. You have to get the writers. They know what they're doing. There's a chance. Yeah. Listen, I mean, unfortunately, our original cast, they're not going to be around forever. Some of them are gone. And at some point, it's possible that some other people may reprise their role. Some people's favorite James Bond is not Sean Connery.
What?
or
Really?
or Lazenby, which was the original James Bond. Um, but yeah, I agree. I
Mm.
agree with you. 14. Um, so this is the first news we got. And it almost, I don't know if it was kind of throwing people off a little bit to what was actually going to come, or I don't know if this is coming too. What do you think? Do you think this is misinformation, or is
Yeah,
it?
I do honestly think I think this is hand over here going, woo, check this out, while the other one's going, right, let's just make this a thing. But it also could be true, but it won't be. Like I said, I guarantee this is not this bit of news, a guy being cast as a new Captain Kirk for a Captain Kirk show. It's potentially someone that will come in and out of a Pike show, whatever they wish to call that, and I don't think they'll call it Enterprise either.
Yeah, yeah. To call it Enterprise, I'm not sure. Yeah, um, I think they have to rethink that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, and so yeah, I think there is possible. This does feel either maybe it's not misinformation, who knows, but maybe it does feel like, yeah, look over here, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
announce this over there, and it does feel like they were doing that a little bit. Um, Kirk didn't know Pike. Yeah, you're right, Louise. They didn't know each other. They know they. I mean, Kirk probably knew of him, of course.
They would have met at least once when I think Kirk took over from Pike. I don't think they would have, in terms of actual cold hard canon, other than like, you're relieved, sir. Thank you. I stand relieved. I don't actually think they would have met properly, because when he met him in the wheelchair, it's like, who's this guy? Well, not quite like that, but
I think, yeah, I mean, I think that Louise might be right. I think technically in canon they may not have met until that point that you're talking about.
yeah.
But we will see. I mean, who knows? They see a lot of times you cross paths with somebody in life, but you really don't get to engage them, and maybe they cross paths at some point, but they didn't connect, or they, who knows?
Yeah, but this is still entirely possible. This guy, just using that as a, who's to say that he ends up on the Enterprise? Who's to say that this young Kirk is even on the Enterprise before he takes over? Why not Lieutenant Spock sent somewhere? The Farragut, then, because at this point Kirk may well be either the head of security or the first officer at the Farragut. Somewhere around that. So who's to say that Lieutenant Spock's not sent there for a little while, and they sort of make friends, or the very sort of the very beginnings of a friendship, which would go a little way to explaining this, and this. That's how a lot of things have been set up. So why not? Why I genuinely don't see that being a deal breaker. That Pike and Kirk never met. It doesn't mean that this young Kirk is going to be on the Enterprise, and it doesn't mean that Pike's going to encounter him either. It could be Spock.
Yeah. And Stephen, I do agree with you. They should go ahead and try something else, but it's the lowest common denominator. Let's do what we think will attract the most people, and listen, doing Enterprise and bringing and inventing, Captain Archer and doing that is not the easiest thing to start a whole new captain and crew within existing canon. We've seen them do it with Discovery, and it has been, it's been a disaster.
Yes, it has, an unmitigated disaster.
And I'm sorry, there's 20% people out there who like Discovery, but actually, I think most Star Trek fans don't like Discovery. And I think traditional Star Trek fans are split on Picard. How did you feel about Picard 14?
Hated it. Absolutely hated it. Now, I was weirdly, when it came to the Next Generation, Picard was never really one of my favourite characters, and a lot of people would sort of assume as a French Englishman I would be all over Jean-Luc, but nah. I mean, like I like Data and I like Worf. Worf was probably my favourite, even though he got told no all the time. So when told they were going to bring back someone from the Next Generation, I was a little bit excited about, oh, will it be Captain Worf? Because this has been talked about a lot, especially on the internet. No, it's Picard as a old dude that's doddering around and getting pulled around and told off, and it was awful. I mean, the way I looked at it is, if that was Cisco being berated and pulled around and stuff, I'd have been mortified. Like, 'cause I was more of a Cisco fan than a Picard.
Okay.
But it was dreadful, and the writing wasn't nice. No, it was a mess. The only thing that you could say was Santiago Cabrera, the guy that was in the Musketeers, and I think he was the captain of the ship or something.
Yeah.
He did well. I mean, he played what, 8 roles or something.
I actually like him. I actually think he's very likable.
As a actor,
And
I
he's a
think
great
he's
actor.
highly charming. His character was probably the only one that you could say wasn't a complete and utter mess. I mean, you had a murderer who, it's fine that she did murders for some reason. You had a drug addict who, let's just skip over the fact she was a drug addict. And it was crazy. The whole thing was just, it didn't make a lot of sense. Now, they could have done something really cool, but they didn't. And that just, it made me sad. It made me sad. So my favourite part of the whole show was when it finished. And what am I looking for? The next season of Picard, when it finishes. I don't like it.
Yes, everybody's streaming about it, Vile. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Vile Mike. And who else just came? Alaric just came in here. And Louise. Hello, everybody. And Ellie.
And Adega.
And Adega. Sometimes I don't know if Adega's been here from the beginning or if he's just because he's lurking.
He's a stealth ninja, that's why.
He's a stealth Adega. Oh, man. Alaric says, totally agree. Picard was not my favorite character. I rank him about middle to low middle, way in the list of Star Trek crewmate characters. Okay, Alaric. Yes, Stephen. Wasn't Voyager as example highly rated during its run? Yeah, it was. Yeah. You still won't watch Picard? Oh wow, Luis.
To see if you like something, you probably should give it a go. Even if you just watch like an episode and go, nah, that's definitely not for me. That's just, maybe that's me being charitable no, that is me being charitable. That's nonsense. I refuse to watch the last Star Wars movie, and I love Star Wars. Hashtag Solo lost money.
The problem is you can't. We can't give our opinions on it without reviewing it. Like I can't not see something. And now the where I think they're losing their money is like for Star Wars, for example, where they're losing their money is I didn't go see it 3 or 4 times.
Really, that's what you reckon? I get that. I get what you're saying. I mean, up until
that's funny, Adega. By the way, that's really funny.
Up until probably the what was it called, The Last Jedi. I went to watch a Star Wars movie more than once. I mean, Rogue One was actually really cool. Like, I really enjoyed that. And then it was followed up with The Last Jedi, and I was like, no, don't like it. Like, you have killed Luke Skywalker for no good reason. So I never went to another Star Wars movie again. And I think that's where they've lost money as well, though, is people like me who have gone, nah, and just basically done one. Gone, nah, not doing it. So it will be the return views. You're right. But I think it's also a lot of people have turned around and gone, nah, not paying.
Now, Vile Mike says, how do you guys feel about this? I'm worried that they will not be able to do much, as they cannot do much character development for Spock and Pike, as we know how they end up. That's where you need extraordinarily good writers.
Or you need to accept
point,
something that was said on Midnight's Edge recently. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was saying that, you know, do you have to respect canon? Does it have to be canon? Are we too tied to canon? Which is kind of what I would like to see with this. Why bother? Why not make a multiverse? Why not just say this is not part of the Prime universe, which is their attempt at, you know, mucking around with canon, and do something fresh with these characters that we already know? You know, why does Pike have to end up in a wheelchair with all the burns in that? Why does he have to end up there? Why does Spock end up where he is? Why can't something different happen with these characters? So there's if they stick to the canon, there's a bit of play that you can do, which comes into the writing thing. But if they don't stick to canon and they just do something, just go nuts, go wild, make something really fresh and cool with these characters that we know in an alternative universe, why not? I mean, I'd watch that and I'd enjoy that, because I like Pike. I don't want to see him end up, you know, in the wheelchair that only has the flashing light. I mean, that was just mortifying.
I also want to say that, listen, we've had there are advancements. I think they could retcon him, not like he could be in bad shape, but not be. He could not be as confined as he was in the original. Perhaps, I don't know. I do think that Trek evolves as well a little bit. If you gotta keep it in character. Armageist. I was just gonna say that that's hysterical. Red Letter Media. Yeah, their reviews are hysterical. Their first Picard review was funny. Was really funny.
What was it, like a massive love letter?
Canon equals intellectual honesty. Alternative universes seem like a cheap go around. I found something I disagree with. 14 about okay.
Yeah,
you guys can duke it out on Monday. Congratulations, Adega. I heard you guys are doing a show every week. That is awesome. I thought it was a onesie the other day, and
it's gonna keep going strong. I mean, I understand the adherence to canon. I really do. But sometimes you have to do a workaround, and you have to get something moving in the right direction. You have to say, okay, we'll change it. Now, PJ, your point to, well, does he have to be so bad off in the wheelchair? I'm sorry, I'm going to make myself a little bit sick when I say this, but there was a robot girl in Discovery. I can't remember, Arian or something. She looked like a robot, and I was like, this is, when I first saw it, I was like, that's massively out of place. That makes no sense. And there was no robot type droids, if you will, until Data. And then they explained in a really good episode, which was just a shame that they didn't care about the character enough, that she'd had an accident and there was parts of her that had been altered with cybernetics. And in the same episode, I think, they pointed out that Pike hates cybernetics and wouldn't have anything to do with it, which again means that he's going to end up in the chair. And that was awful. I would be all right with a divergence just enough to have something different, and just fresh enough to be, well, just different enough to say, well, I don't know what's going to happen with these characters, but just enough to say, yeah, it feels familiar.
Let me just point out, let me point out two things that were not done well in Next Generation. For example, there's an episode where Worf like fractures his spinal column.
Yep.
And she has to operate on him. Mm-hmm. I am sorry, but in the 24th century, that's not going to happen. Like, if somebody severs their spinal cord, they'll be able to repair it, because we'll probably be able to do it in 50 years or 20 years. So that makes no sense, for example, to me. And I also want to point out for our Orville fans that something which is actually, it seems silly at first, but it's very believable. When Isaac cuts off Gordon's leg and they just regenerate it, that's probably going to be possible, guys.
I can see that being more of a reality than like the Star Trek prosthetic, Star Wars prosthetics like Anakin and Luke had. Yeah, a regeneration thing makes more sense. I'm totally with you on that, which is kind of why I would like to see a divergence to not have to adhere too much to the idea that when he's fleet captain, Pike goes through such a traumatic event. I mean, it was bad enough seeing it again, which I know might sound really strange me saying, but it was bad enough to see it and then see the fact that he knew that was coming. I was like, it's just a little bit too dark for Trek. Just a little bit too dark in a way. As much I like dark things, but I don't want it always in my Trek. Hello, Ian Greenhill, by the way.
Ellie, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do it just for you. We're gonna give you a crash course on Star Trek. Yes, we're gonna do that. That's a good idea, actually, because Ellie is an Orville fan who has come on board, not through Star Trek, but through loving other Seth MacFarlane stuff. So absolutely, let's figure that out.
Like a crash course in Star Trek.
Yeah. Stephen, awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. Orville proves you can make fresh and new Trek. It does.
Yeah.
It does prove it. Stephen, I don't remember if I don't think you have a YouTube channel, but I've given you a wrench. So if you want to plug your YouTube channel or your Twitter, please go ahead and put that in yourself, my friend. And hello, Ian. How are you?
He's a good guy. He's just started up a channel himself. He is one of the finest cabinet makers in Cornwall. And he's got some very interesting videos out as of today. So anyone out there, check him out. He's a very good friend and a very, very interesting YouTuber now.
Ian, listen, all our friend creators get a wrench on my channel. So please put in do us a favor, because our Adega can't do it all himself. He can't do it all himself anymore. And so I'm giving you a wrench, Ian. Please put in your YouTube channel, and everybody sub to Ian, and everybody sub to Ian and to Fortean, and to all the other Ians that are coming in. Hello, Rose. How are you, my friend? That picture of Rose with a donut always makes me hungry.
Really? I just eaten chocolate bars. I can't eat more.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Adiga says, that could work. One for each series. Yeah, one for each series, Adiga. That's a good idea. Yeah. Crash course, one for each series. Wow. So we got to bring Ellie, and if there's a few other people we probably need to bring up to speed now that I'm thinking about it.
Deep Space Nine would be the easiest, though, to sum up very quickly.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh. That's funny, Armageist. That is funny. Oh, man. Thank you, Armageist, for that. Thank you, Armageist, for that super chat. Man, that's funny. That's funny, dude. Wow. Armageist, do you have a YouTube channel? Just give me a yes or a no, and tell us if you're a content creator, please. Thank you, Armageist, for that super chat. Oh, wow. Yeah, what the hell, man? They've got Spock singing. Why not just set Pike off in a better situation now that he's, so he doesn't have to just beep with a flashing light.
Honestly, I'd forgotten the Spock singing thing. I feel really bad now. I remember it. Why? Honestly, I think. Have you seen the advert? Has anyone seen the advert they pumped out on Twitter for it that had Ethan Peck, Rebecca Romijn, and Anson Mount talking on video on it, because I think that goes a long way to at least give them a chance at the show, right? Yeah, if it's, you know, take it at face value, why not?
Let me just remind all the content creators. If you've been given a wrench, you can go ahead and plug your channel 2, 3, 4 times during the stream, whatever you want. Okay, guys. So plug your channels, Ian, Moira, everybody, please. And and here we go. We have Jamal is with us already. Let's see if he's. I think he's getting ready to come in.
Awesome.
Jamal is very, very knowledgeable about Star Trek. Okay, Armageist, I see that. Thanks, man. Ah, that's awesome. Thank you, Alaric. That's awesome. Let's bring in, let's see. Hey, Jamal, how are you?
Hey, good. Sorry I came in late.
Oh, it's okay. Are you all set, or do you need a few minutes?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was on the phone with my sister here, so she's having a problem.
Oh, I hope everything's okay. Can you just turn up your mic a little bit?
How's that?
Yeah, that's better, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Fortean, I think. Jamal?
I don't know if maybe it was on a previous show or something like that, but I don't. It's been a while since I've been on.
Can you turn yourself up a little bit more?
Yeah.
Hello, AH. How are you, my friend?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Let's see. So we were just talking about Jamal. We were just talking about how and you don't have a content channel right now, right, Jamal?
I have a YouTube channel.
Do you want to put it in the private chat? I'll put it out there.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. If you give it to me in the private chat, I will put it out there. So we were discussing kind of the initial leak, the initial rumor of this Mandalorian actor who played a gunslinger in the Mandalorian, that he might be cast as Kirk, and then they kind of gave us this thing about the Pike series. So, and guys, everybody, please sub to anybody's channel. I mean, you don't have to, but I ask you guys to support each other. All the content creators in here who are putting up their channels. Content creators, if you have a wrench, please put your plug your channel 3-4 times during the stream. As many, I don't care if you do it 5 or 6 or 7, whatever you want. And Jamal, when you get a chance, give me that channel in the private chat, and I will put it up. So Steven says, if canon doesn't mean anything for Star Trek, then they should base some shows off novels. And true, that's a good point.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that. It's just more the only way I think to push a show that they want to push forward is to sort of, it's not ignoring canon per se. It's more saying, look, this Star Trek could be a multiverse. Was it Doomcock or was it Midnight's Edge that spoke of Sherry Redstone wanting to have multiple Star Trek shows with almost like a multiverse, like Marvel? Why not? Why not actually have this as one of them, as a tester or taster into what could be? And then, yeah, you know what? We could have a modern Star Trek show that's a bit further forwards, one that doesn't involve Picard in any way at all. That would be great. I'd really like that. One that maybe brought back Cisco or Worf or something. That'd be great with me. I'd be a massive fan of that. But might not.
What did you, Jamal? What did you think about the? What did you think about the news, basically? And obviously, I mean the Pike series news, and we don't really know if this is true, but he's gone.
Oh,
Do like
there he is.
a commercial? Didn't he do like an ad or a commercial with the actors from Discovery that were on the Enterprise or something like that, saying they were going to do it or something to that effect? I thought I saw that on
that just
YouTube
came out
or something like that.
For the Discovery actors, you're saying?
Yeah, the ones that were acting on the Enterprise, that whole crew there. They had Spock and Pike and Number One and all them. The actors were on there, kind of promoting the idea, or promoting that there was a green light to this new series that CBS wants to do. They just didn't have a date or anything like when they were going to start filming it. And someone had mentioned to me that, right now where everything is in lockdown because of the pandemic, they're not really sure when they could actually start filming this other Star Trek series. So it's like, well, they're saying they're going to do it, but, are they really going to do it? Because if it takes more than a year, I mean, things can fall apart before they become realized. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it seems like it's CBS doing another one of those things where they're saying they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and then it never happens. So I don't know. What do you think?
You're not sure if the Pike series is going to happen, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I know they've already said that they're going to do it, but, reality is there's a lot of things aren't being done in Hollywood right now. I mean, movies have been put on hold and TV shows have been kind of stopped real soon in the seasons. So I don't know if they're going to be willing to want to come back. I mean, you really can't have actors staying 6 feet away from each other when they're filming something all the time. I mean, it's not going to look right, So I don't know when they're going to be able to film it, if they're really going to do it.
Yeah. Steve, I want to address Steven's comment here. When Steven, I think it would be great because Starfleet has already been to the Delta Quadrant. Wouldn't it be great if Harry Kim was captain and he was sent on a mission back to the Delta Quadrant to kind of like establish some kind of relations there? That would be a great idea.
Yeah,
I'd be a fan of that. I think that would be quite an interesting take on that side of the future, more so than what we got. Actually, I think that would be quite an interesting. You could have Neelix back in it as well. That'd be all right. I liked him.
You could have Neelix, yeah. Hello, Rose. Unless there's an episode on a planet where 6 feet apart is the norm.
Yeah,
there isn't there?
Maybe.
I got somebody sent me a picture on Twitter of people wearing hats that have 3-foot visors that go all the way around it. So if everybody wore those hats, they would automatically stay 6 feet apart from each other, because otherwise they'd be colliding hats wherever they went. So it's a good way to train people to learn the distance of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jamal, is there any way you can turn up your volume a little bit more?
Okay.
Or is it maxed out?
I think, yeah, I got it maxed up.
Okay. Yeah. That's good enough then. Okay.
I saw a video. Sorry, I thought I'd just jump this one in when you're talking about the big hats. I saw a video in Birmingham, in England. This lad walking through Birmingham city centre with a 2-meter stick, just waving it in front of him. And if you happen to get in front of that, that's tough. I like that. I
saw that on YouTube.
Yeah, it was ace. Oh, I didn't have time for that.
That's funny. So what about, so you guys all saw, like, they came up with this picture today, right? They put up well, this picture was put up in the article. I'm going to go to the article soon. And obviously what stands out about this is that Spock is smiling, but of course this is a cast picture, not Yeah,
That's the thing that stands out for you.
What stands out to you?
Oh, the Saved by the Bell graphics.
It's by the Bell graphics. That's funny. That's funny.
I saw. I couldn't resist.
Yeah. Hello, Trey. Hello, Max World Entertainment. Please take the wrench and plug your channel, guys. Everybody sub to Max World Entertainment. And Ian, I didn't see you plug your channel. Ian, go ahead and you gotta have a wrench. So that means you can, when you in the chat where you're writing the chat, you can also put your channel in there now that you have a wrench. Hello, number one sci-fi, our buddies number one. Awesome. Good to see you, my friend. And let me just make sure number one has a wrench. All the creators in here who are friends of the channel get a wrench. Please plug your channel 3-4 times during the stream, whatever you want. Saved by the Bell.
Sorry.
Yes. Thank you, Rose. Plug your channel means post the link, guys. Thank you. And Jamal, I see what you put in the private chat. Actually, I don't have the link there. Actually, did we lost him again? Okay, we lost Jamal again.
Oh, well, he'll be back. He'll be back. It's all right.
He'll be back.
Sure.
He'll be back.
Yeah, I hope.
Me. Oh, what is the me? What is that? Ellie, what do you mean by me? What do you mean by me?
Yeah, she was talking to Trey.
Oh, she's talking to Trey. Okay.
Most awesome channel that isn't yours or mine out there.
Oh,
How good was
Jamal, can you get I don't have the link actually. You put something in there, but it's not the link in the private chat.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I can't seem to get the link actually posted in there for some reason, because when I do that, then I get disconnected from here.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'll try and do it after the video. I'll just put it, in there somewhere.
Send it to me on Twitter if you want.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll just do that. Yeah.
Only Seth MacFarlane can make an Orville episode where everyone is 6 feet apart and make it believable. Totally true. Yes, Steven. I agree with that. Seth would pull it off easily. Well, I don't know about easily, but he would pull it off. And thank you for putting up Rambling's channel, Captain. Thank you, my friend. And Captain, please put up your GoFundMe, my friend. Please put up your GoFundMe. Dan, hello, Dan. So listen, guys. I mean, I think the big question here is, and I want to show the article, the Variety article. Where is it? Sorry. It's Hollywood Reporter, is it? Yeah, Hollywood Reporter. I want to show the Hollywood Reporter that says here, and of course they might not be right, but the Hollywood Reporter article says right here, it says Alex Kurtzman will oversee the drama, as he does with all things Star Trek for all CBS All Access. Excuse me. I'm not sure if he's going to be in charge or not, to be honest. But even if he is, there are people who have suggested that Sherry Redstone has done away with some of Les Moonves's executives, people who were there from the Les Moonves reign. And some people have suggested that some of those execs were even interfering with Kurtzman in making it more woke or less Star Trek like. And there's that other rumor. I just want to say one more thing. There's that other rumor that Sherry Redstone says, you guys get your shit together, basically. Get your stuff together now, because CBS is losing a lot of money. What do you guys think about those possibilities?
I'll go first then. I mean, if things haven't changed, and if Kurtzman's still in charge, then brace for a bumpy ride. However, I don't think he'll still be there. So I don't think it will necessarily make much difference. Sorry, I mean, it won't be a massive deal that the interfering people are not there anymore, because you're going to get someone else that's actually going to do potentially a half decent job. Now, I don't want anyone thinking that I am massively pro this or massively negative this. I'm cautiously optimistic. Once bitten, twice shy. But I do honestly think that something could go well, because on law of averages, if you keep throwing something, it's going to stick eventually. So why not let it stick with something that with actors that I didn't mind? How about that? Just it'd be all right. It'd be nice. But yeah, if he's still there, it's probably still going to be a Kurtzman joint, as Gary would put it. But if I don't know, no, I don't think he'll be really in charge of the day-to-day. I think someone else will be popped in charge of the day-to-day. So who knows? It could be all right. It could be all right. It could be good news. But him being in charge ultimately is never really what you'd call amazing news.
Jamal, what do you think? Is Kurtzman in charge still, or is he just a figurehead, or were Moonves execs tinkering with his work, or what?
I think they're probably going to try and keep some of Kurtzman's, ideas in it, because there are people who've been watching it that did like his approach to things, even though I didn't. But so I don't think they want to detach themselves too much from it. But what I'm hoping for personally is story quality, basically. And I don't like this serialized way of telling one story for 10 episodes. It's like take like the worst Star Trek episode you ever saw and then make it 10 hours long. It doesn't work. You got to have a good episode and a bad one, to kind of balance it out. So that way the whole season can be evaluated as either being a good season or a bad season.
Jamal, let me just say, you expressed that so well from my point of view. You just take the worst Star Trek episode you ever saw and stretch it out for 10. Thank you for expressing it that way.
Well, that's the way I see it. I mean, one of the worst Star Trek movies for me is Star Trek 5. I mean, and I can't imagine sitting in the theater for 10 hours and watching Kirk throw around women and, flying up and down terrible shafts and, all this other stuff that went on that people were laughing about. So how much can you do with one story for 10 hours? I mean, you have to put in fillers. You got to put in things like people sliding through corridors in their socks, and you got to have, all these little characters that don't mean anything in the end because they get killed off so quick. It's just, you have to put so much in it, and then the point gets lost at the end. Sometimes you're scratching your head like saying, well, I forgot, what are we doing here? Because it drags out too long. And it's not the actors. The actors that they pick to do these shows are fine. Okay. I've got no problem with the actors they've been picking. That's the only good thing they've been doing. It's the story. These poor people have got the worst source material to act from. And I wish they would stop that and just look at what they're writing and say, look, can this hold water? Because if you're going to do serialized storytelling, at the end of every chapter, you've got to have a cliffhanger to get people to come back the following week to watch the rest of it. And they don't do that. There's no cliffhangers,
Oh, Dan, I like Dan's comment. I'll take Star Trek 5 over Into Darkness. I know, right?
Yeah. And Insurrection. Insurrection was worse as well.
Don't we have this? We all have this new appreciation for Star Trek 5.
Yeah, awesome.
By the way, one of my favorite lines in Star Trek is from Star Trek 5. And it's one of my favorite lines where, or one of my favorite moments in Star Trek history, where everybody's being brainwashed. And Scotty's like all with like all lovey-dovey with Uhura, and he's been brainwashed too, but Scotty still has to get the Enterprise up and running because he can't let down the captain, even though he's been brainwashed. So that's something I loved about that.
I know this ship like the back of my own
his love
hand.
for the ship overpowered whatever was ever being done to him. So that was more important to him.
Yeah. Are you hearing? Can you hear 14 now, Jamal, or not? Are you still not hearing him?
No, I'm not. Unless he's saying no, I'm not hearing him.
Can everyone else hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, good.
We can hear you.
Happy days.
You can't. So you can't hear him, Jamal?
No, for some reason, no. He's not coming through on my speaker here. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe you have one of those Cornwall filters on your speakers.
Anti-British one. It's not German, is it?
Yeah, I think you can get those on Amazon. Oh, okay. Steven says, I would take the scene that Tasha Yar gets killed by that tar monster. Oh gosh.
That was just the best death ever.
Yeah, it's Jamal's thing. Thanks, Rose. That's true. Why don't you leave and come back in, Jamal?
Okay, I'll do that.
Thanks, number one. Yeah, maybe that's okay. Thanks, number one. Now we can talk about Jamal.
I was just about to say the same thing, but I thought, no, don't do that. And I'm never mean, honest.
I don't know. I actually think there's a lot of things going on here. I do think that I think that first of all, Kurtzman is Kurtzman. Second of all, I do think that some TV execs were probably even making it harder for Kurtzman. And I also do think that he's been sidelined to a degree by Sherry Redstone. There's no way you could be in charge of CBS Viacom and let this crap still go on and on. And they're losing millions and millions of money. I mean, when Netflix says we don't want to help you produce Picard. I mean, geez. I mean,
that was huge, actually. Yeah, when Amazon decided they were going to jump in, and now Amazon don't really want to be in the Star Trek business, and now Netflix want to be in the Star Trek business by taking it away from Viacom CBS. I mean, what a strange situation.
Yeah, Jamal, can you hear Fortina now?
Have him speak again. Let me see.
I can see a donut. Is that a donut?
No, he's not. He's not coming through.
Oh,
he's not coming through. Okay, nice donut though.
I like that.
All right. Well, you can see him talk, right? So when okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what about if I talk like this?
Oh, well, he speaks kind of funny, but we love him.
Who, Jamal?
No. 14 speaks funny, but we love him. We're just kidding. It's probably us who speak funny. So
everyone does. Even in England, people don't sound the same in one part of England to another. Like me and Ian, we've got totally different accents, but we get on like a house on fire, which is a horrible phrase, but I like it.
Ian, I don't think I've seen you put in your channel yet. Go ahead, man. Put it in. Unless you don't want to, for some reason.
Oh no, he's popped it in once. He's popped it in once.
Okay.
And he'll pop it in
Go
again,
ahead.
I reckon.
Gotcha.
He's never been shy of putting it in more than once.
Okay. Is that your cat?
Oops.
Cool.
Not this video switch here.
Yeah. So the whole thing about it is surreal what you were saying, 14. I mean the whole Netflix, Amazon, and now maybe Amazon wants to walk away with. It's surreal. Yeah. Truth be told, I think when you have to rely on Netflix money or Amazon money and not CBS money, it shows my CBS is not all in. That's true too. Stephen. Yeah, that's true too.
A lot of studios are like, they require help from other studios. When you had your Doctor Who panel, one of the things that was driving me mental, in a nice way, was the fact that no one seems to understand, or no one did seem to understand, that the BBC relied heavily on stars to get Doctor Who made. And in the UK right now, there is a growing feeling of people who are just saying, you know what, we ain't paying no more. We ain't going to pay for your nonsense no more. So they're coming away from live television so that they can have things that they can enjoy, which means Doctor Who will eventually get cancelled. Now, just looking at that and looking at the way CBS require help from Amazon and Netflix, I think a lot of companies are like that. I don't think there are many big companies that don't require help anymore to make. I mean, these productions are ginormous. I mean, Discovery alone is about 8 million an episode, if I remember correctly.
Fortian, can you explain to us real quick, for us who don't live in the UK, can you explain real quick what that whole TV tax is about?
Oh, yeah, basically,
because I don't think people can even understand, fathom what that is.
It is actually genuinely mental. So we are taxed in the UK to watch live television. It used to be that there was an enforced and mandatory tax because there was only one channel, which was the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company. And eventually they made another channel, so they wanted more money and so on and so forth. But we now have this tax so that the money goes towards the
okay, there you
are. Yeah, so basically we have this tax, and it encompasses the idea of watching live television on anything. And yeah, I did see that, Louise. If you don't pay for that and you don't watch live television, so you have Netflix, Amazon, Disney, catch up things. We have free streaming channels in the UK as well. You don't have to pay for it, and you don't have your teletax no more.
But how do people? They don't really know that you're not using it, right?
Yeah, they don't really know if you're watching live television through an aerial as such. They might have a bit of a clue if you're watching it through a satellite dish, but it's still not guaranteed. What they really know is if you're not paying for it, and or if you're using one of the BBC streaming service, which is called the iPlayer. Is it something like that? So they have a rough idea. If you're not paying, they will come and knock on your door and go, have you got a license, or have you got a television? Are you watching television? Yeah, I'm watching television, but I ain't watching your stuff because it's rubbish. It's crud. And it's got progressively worse. Not just because of any political agenda, it's just got progressively worse. They're not producing anything. So yeah, we're paying a lot of money for nothing.
TV detector vans in your area? What the hell?
That's not a joke. That is actually
they do sting operations in neighborhoods.
Yeah. So in the 80s and early 90s, they actually told people that they could tell if you were watching television by a van that had an aerial on the top of it. But it was actually nonsense. The only reason that they would ever have people come around in these areas with these vans was they had a nice little list of whether you paid or not. And that's the only way they know. They don't actually have an idea if you're watching as such, because not every household has the equivalent of a Nielsen box. So it's just nonsense. But it's bully boy tactics. You know what? I'll try not to say too much, but it is really disgusting that young single mothers are being put in court over the television license. Right? That cannot be accepted.
I've heard stuff like that. People have been threatened about their not paying their TV tax.
You can go to prison. You can get heavy fines, and if you can't pay your fines, you can go to prison.
But don't they have to prove that you're using it?
Yeah, and it's actually not that difficult to sort of prove. So if you have, if you've got a television that has an aerial that's connected, then or a satellite dish, and you're not paying your license, it's somewhat obvious. If you have a streaming service like a Roku box or something like that, and you don't have any BBC things on there, but you've got ambiguous ones like Channel 4 ITV or something, you probably aren't watching the live television services, and they can see that because you can see what's being watched on those streaming apps. So that's wherein why they can and can't get you. But yeah, if you've got something that can connect to live television.
Just a quick question. And oh, by the way, Jamal, you can hear him now, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay. Just a quick question. Are there like a lot of, I mean, I would imagine that that opens people up to scams, like people walking coming up to your door and asking you about TV tax and then not being the government?
100%. Now, a lot of older folks in the UK, they have been granted a reprieve from paying for the last, I think it's about 6 years. And the BBC suddenly decided, we're just going to stop that, and we want old people to pay no matter what. And there has been huge scams of older people being rung up and told to pay over the telephone for their license fee. The whole thing's vile. Like, it really does need to be decriminalized so that we don't have to pay for it. Like, you can pay for the BBC if you want it, but you can have live television no matter what. I think that is a logical thing. We're one of the only countries in the whole world that's dim enough to actually have a teletax. It's insane.
Wow. Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That is not a joke. You can go to prison if you don't pay. Unless you are over 70, you must pay for a license in Ireland. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they're enforced to pay our license. That is insane as well. That's utterly insane. We're picking, or the BBC's picking on another country. Like, ugh. Yeah. It's got hashtag ban the license fee.
Wow. Anyway, yeah, I mean, yeah, they should. I mean, if they're going to do anything, they should just add like 10 cents to everybody's regular taxes and just be gone with that problem or something. I don't know.
Or just don't have it.
Yeah, the thing is, though, some people think that you need to have state, like a lot of European countries think that you need to have a state-sponsored channel for whatever purposes might happen, like a coronavirus pandemic or something. I don't know.
I don't think you do, but you get away with it in America and Australia and whatnot. I think it's fine. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Let's get back to Star Trek because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that was me. That was my bad, guys. I just remember that now. I figured we had to ask him. So Jamal, what do you think? I'm sorry, I know you've been coming in and out. Now you can hear us. Go, all right.
Yeah, it took 3 times to come in and out, and then it finally crackled, and then it came on.
Wow. Now, what about Jamal? How did you feel about the short treks, for example? What was your take on the short treks, and which was your least favorite one? And I'm going to ask 14 that too. Which was your least favorite short trek?
Well, I really didn't watch all of them. I only watched like a couple of them. There was this one where there was tribbles and stuff like that in it, and I didn't much care the way they portrayed the tribbles as being sort of a menace. They were sort of like, oh, they're going to kill us, or but then there was another one where they were showing this guy all alone on the Discovery. He finds the ship out in space, and I'm thinking, well, at the end of that story, I was like, well, wait a minute, because we saw the end of season 2, and I'm thinking, well, how is that? How is this going to connect? Or are they just going to ignore that short trek and just start from scratch? Because apparently the Discovery was like floating in space for many, many decades before this guy found it. So it's like, well, what did this mean? These people are never going to find their ship again, and that's it, So, and then the computer becomes sentient. So it gives you an idea how long it's been in space. It just evolved. The ship's computer evolved. So, but yeah, I didn't really watch all of them. I just watched a couple of them, and I really wasn't like all that impressed with it, really. Because it's still, it left like a lot of things kind of unanswered, and so I did see that cartoon one. I thought that wasn't too bad, but
Oh, I did not see the cartoon one. What about you, 14? What did you dislike or like about the short treks?
The one thing I did like, and I kind of mean this, was a sort of return to Pike. Now, he was the standout for me during season 2 of Discovery. About the only thing I found palatable, other than, I mean, Saru actually is quite a well acted character, but generally Pike was about the only reason I stayed watching. So that was probably the bit that I liked the best about especially the newer short tracks. The thing I hated is actually that Tribble episode. The way that captain was acting towards a crewman was massively not Star Trek. It just didn't seem right. No one's going to advance to that rank in Starfleet and act like that to a crew member. So I was like, nah, not for me. I also hated Spock singing. That was grim.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Definitely.
the Spock singing was a low point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely definitely wasn't a good one, that's for sure.
Now, so I think that listen, yeah, everybody, why can't they go ahead and do something that's not been done before? Why can't they just go ahead and do something that create a new story, a new ship, even if it's going to be in the same time frame? Can they just do a different adventure, a different crew? And that's what a lot of people are saying. Because if you're going to go back, this is what the problem that the Kurtzman group don't understand is that if you're going to go back and delve into established characters, your thought process has to be so well thought out. Otherwise, you're gonna end up disappointing the fans.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, sci-fi says it. Enterprise under Pike hasn't really been done before, other than the Cage and that 2-part ending of Discovery. It's never actually really been tread. It was just sort of assumed that stuff happened and that was that. So that hasn't been done before, to be fair. But in my heart of hearts, I would have preferred a show where it picked up X amount of years after Voyager and ran with that. And it didn't necessarily have to have anyone from Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, or Voyager. I just would have enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean, I would have liked a Captain Worf show, but that's just me, I suppose.
I did want a Captain Worf show too. Yeah, I think we should campaign for him to get one still.
Oh man, that'd be it would just be joyful to see him back.
Yeah, Jeff has an interesting point here. Compare how the captain in the short Trek Tribble episode acts compared to. Well, give us your take on that, Jeff Franklin. Give us your take on the comparison of, I mean, Picard tried to make him fit in as well. What's your take on that, Jeff? Can you give us be more specific? Any comments on this, Jamal? Or
well, I like the idea of bringing in some of the characters that were like lower rank characters and then pushing them up ahead in years to where now they're command level officers, and maybe having them, on a ship exploring, parts of the Delta Quadrant that weren't really explored when Voyager was going through it. Because remember, they were just trying to make a straight beehive right towards Earth, and they missed a lot of things along the way. They didn't really hit most of the Delta Quadrant. And so I would like to see, maybe some of those people after all these years, now they're assembled on another ship and it's in the future, further into the future, and they're going back into the Delta Quadrant, possibly maybe even to see if there's anything left of the Borg, because that's still a question in the Trek fandom is the Borg still around? Because, after the way Voyager ended, it seemed like they closed the book on that, more or less. They didn't even really answer that in Picard. I mean, that ship could have been a relic just floating around after that incident in Endgame, and they just found it or something. And that was probably the only way they could actually capture a cube, is when it was not working.
let me just say real quick, Steven's comment here, the time ship relativity, which was featured in Voyager episode, yeah, is there a possibility that they're connecting these two things? Yeah, there's and Daniels from the future as well, and there's can they be connecting Voyager and all those that the time, what is it called, the temporal Cold War and all that stuff? What do you guys think?
No,
You guys think they're going to be connecting that in Discovery?
no. I think in Discovery, I'm going to be really honest, really blunt about it. They're going to rip off Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda, and that will be that. Like, instead of Dylan Hunt, we're going to have I can't remember her name, Mikey Spock, Burnham. That was it, Michael Burnham, and that will be that. It's not. I just, the tech of the Discovery will probably be that little bit better than everyone else's because the Federation fell and all the empires probably fell. So as a result, their tech's a little bit more backwards. And she's going to bring the Federation back. So I will not be watching. To be fair, I won't.
Paul, what about you? He's gone.
Oh no.
Listen, 14, you're not going to even watch it to review it or something, or even to rip it up?
Right, I'll tell you how strong I can be on these things and how weak I can be on these things. I outright refused to watch season 1 of Discovery. I was like, no, not for me, not doing it. Nah, don't want to know. And I actually completely avoided it. And then as soon as I heard Anson Mount had been cast as Pike, I was like, ooh, maybe I'll give this a go. Only under the grounds that I really like the character and I wanted to see what he could do with it. So I did, and I decided to go back and have a look at season 1, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd completely ignored season 1 and just stuck with the season 2. So I can be quite weak with that, and I say I'm not going to watch it, and I probably won't, but there probably will come a point where I have watched everything else in the world and I'm, maybe a little bit bored and I give it a go. But I will not watch the last Star Wars movie. There is no way I will ever watch that.
Oh, man. Number one, Sci-Fi says, give Discovery a chance.
I did.
Give Discovery a chance is number one. Okay. Let me just really quickly say what Jeff was pointing out before. Now, I didn't want to put words in your mouth, Jeff. That's why I asked you to. So Picard didn't want to get rid of Barclay. He wanted Barclay to feel as a part of the crew instead of getting rid of a crew member having issues. Yeah, he didn't want to put that. He didn't want to just get rid of a problem. He wanted to resolve and make this guy a better officer. The short track captain felt the science officer was a problem officer and an idiot and wanted to get rid of him. Picard wanted to work with Barclay, and Picard had the right idea. I love that. Thank you for pointing that out, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah, bang on. Honestly, that really does show why that captain in those short tracks really wasn't right. It was awful. Absolutely.
And let me just bring in real quick. By the way, let me just bring in real quick Trek Ace. Hello, Trek Ace. How are you?
Hello, PJ. I'm sleep deprived.
Sleep. Oh, okay. Well, whenever you need to go, let us know.
No, it's okay. I just woke up like half an hour ago from a nap, so I've got a cumulative 5 hours of sleep. I'm good.
Okay. Jamal, we're here with Jamar and 14. And you guys feel free to put up pictures if you want on your avatars.
I'm up on my phone right now, so
yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little unkempt. I don't think it. That it would look good.
No, I meant I put up a picture on your avatar if you want.
Oh well, every time I do that, it gets erased for some reason. When I
really?
Yeah, I don't stay.
I wonder if mine does. Let's have a look.
Let me let me Trek Ace. I want to find out what your first feelings are about this new Pike series.
Well, I actually just learned of it like right after I woke up, ironically. And my immediate thought was, "Oh dear, CBS is trying to give me an aneurysm." I don't know what they're doing. I'm like, especially with like the picture you're showing there. I literally just saw it like right before you messaged me on Twitter too. Again, kind of funny there. And I was just like, what are they doing? This it's like I get wanting to like for example like graphically wanting to modernize the Enterprise a little bit, but you can't go that far with it and make it feel like it's surpassing even the a century later's style and technology. It doesn't work. And on top of that, Discovery, of course, it's going to be debated by some people, but it hasn't really done that well. And you're trying to go ahead and basically put a bandage on a hemorrhage by tossing in Pike as a series focus, which while Anson Mount I think is a good actor, um, and a good redemptive aspect of Discovery, just I'm going crazy here. It's like I don't see how it's going to work.
Let me just let's talk Star Trek. Thank you so much. Yes, I broke my Orville Nation virginity. Congratulations and congratulations. And we see Ellie's comment there. Thank you. Let's talk Star Trek. Let's talk Star Trek. I'm not sure. I think you do have a YouTube channel. If you do, let me know. Give me a yes if you are a yes or a no if you have a YouTube channel. So we will help you. We will put it up. We were talking before, Ace, about how we learned a couple of days ago that some people were saying that this Mandalorian actor was probably going to portray Kirk. You probably saw that, right?
Yes, I did.
What were your feelings on that initial news? Well, news. That's a rumor. That's a rumor. That's not news. But...
A very long sigh is a good way to describe it. This is just making me sad. It's just like, why are you doing this? We've already had Shatner, which I think is the appropriate Kirk. Then you've already had him recast once for the Abrams movies in the alternate timeline. And now you're about to recast him again. And the thing is that I think makes this even worse if they go through with this, is that it's not like this is at the very, very beginning of his career. This is literally only a matter of years before he starts off on before he becomes the captain of Enterprise. So, especially visually, they have very little wiggle room to kind of be able to explain why he doesn't look exactly like he did in the original series. Or any of them that they might bring in, such as, of course, Spock with his beard, for that matter.
Which, in fairness, he did shave off.
Sorry, guys. Okay, let's talk Star Trek. Guys, sorry, let's talk Star Trek. You have a wrench. Please put up your, feel free to put up your channel 3-4 times during the stream whenever you want. You feel free to go ahead. And I want to remind all creators, Max World Entertainment, please, guys, shamelessly plug your stuff, your YouTube channels, your Twitter, your Instagram, all content creators who are friends of the channel. Please plug your stuff, guys. And hello, Cross Comics. How are you guys doing? Good to see you, Cross Comics. And let me just make sure that Cross has his. Let me just make sure that Cross has his wrench. Is there no way, Ace? I wanted to ask you this question. Ace is an aspiring Star Trek writer, by the way, guys. And the last thing people would say to Ace is, "Don't talk bad, don't talk smack about CBS." But let me ask you this: Do you think that Kurtzman is still going to be in control of this new series?
I'm not sure, honestly. I know we've heard a lot of rumors that potentially he's on the chopping block, and of course they've already replaced, if I'm correct, Shaban for Star Trek Picard. So who knows? Maybe they are trying to go ahead and find a way to turn things around, and they are trying to slowly move away from him. But as it is, I feel like he's kind of got his hands in everything at Star Trek right now. So even if he's not directly involved, I feel like he might still have some indirect influence on where this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, but maybe not. Who knows? That's the until the stuff hits the fan. I don't think we're ever gonna really know one way or another. So I sort of agree with Jamal on that, but at the same time, I don't know. I think it will happen, but I don't know if Kurtzman will be around. I don't know.
Maybe he'll find something else to do, and then we can.
He already has. He already has.
Oh.
He has, right?
He's got,
He's working on, what is it called?
from Silence of the Lambs. What's the name?
Oh yes, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a TV show based on that.
yeah. Clarice.
Yeah, Clarice.
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I wanted to see that, but I haven't seen anything yet.
I'm probably not gonna.
Cross, when I go to add you, you don't show up as being on the stream. That's really strange.
Internet's so weird tonight here for some reason.
Cross, you're not coming up as in the chat. That's strange. To me, you're not coming up as in the chat. Okay, that's really weird.
Maybe it's because the whole world is using the internet because we're all stuck in the house. That it's overloading the whole system or something.
Yeah. Oh, let's see.
Some of us.
That's really strange, Cross. That's really strange, Cross. I cannot see you when I go to add you as a moderator. You're not there. Like, you're not in the chat. You're only coming. I can only see you in the chat as in on my StreamYards, but I cannot see you in the chat. Okay, that's sorry, dude. Next time I will add you. Very strange. Yeah, maybe refresh. Maybe that helped. All right. So, oops. Okay. There we go. So, hello, DJ. What's up, Deej? Guys, and by the way, everybody, we heard that Bird of Prey is coming home tonight. He gets to go home tonight.
Hey. That's good news. You know what? Some might say he's been saved by the bell.
Oh, that's funny. Now, if this goes forward, guys, if this goes forward, what are there's several different scenarios here. It could be better than what they've been putting out. It could be, they may have been. We've heard rumors. I've heard rumors. We've all heard rumors of being told that they have to get their act together, and getting their act together means maybe they have to be more traditional Trek. And I know that some people, the person who's become the showrunner right now, his name is Terry Metalis. He has been involved. With Enterprise and Voyager, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the thing is, he was a producer's assistant on those shows, if I'm not mistaken. So he was very young, but he might embody the right. Way of doing Star Trek. What do you guys think?
Maybe. I'd like to hope so. I mean, the fact that he was a gopher doesn't mean he wasn't paying attention. So yeah, you know what? Cautiously optimistic is the phrase. I've used it a couple of times tonight, and that's all I can really say. I mean, as regards how I feel about what might be coming. You don't know. It might be really good. It might. You know what? We'll all have a bit of egg on our face, going, "Well, you know, I thought it was going to be Cat, and it turned out to be pretty top draw." You know, the reverse could happen, and it could be Picard and Discovery all over again. But just be cautiously optimistic. It might actually be all right. It might. Who knows? I hope so.
Before I forget, guys, real quick, DJ, can you put in your channel? You have a wrench. Can you put in your channel, please, my friend? Can everybody? DJ is almost at the monetization level. He just needs to get over that hump. So if people can sub to him and watch some of his content, he is almost there. So please, if you can put your channel in, I'd really appreciate it, DJ. Hello, Matt. Matt says, I know that Anson Mount has a better understanding of what Star Trek is than Patrick Stewart does. Have you listened to his interview in Glorious Trek? I agree with that, Matt.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I never saw that. Is he a Star Trek fan? Because I never saw that interview.
My understanding is that he does have a better sense. I think Patrick just doesn't care anymore. To be completely honest. What do you?
Yeah,
you were going to say something, 14?
I don't think he ever cared. I know that sounds really, really, really like sort of harsh and maybe a little bit of hindsight, but I actually genuinely do not believe 1 minute he actually ever cared about Star Trek. It was a meal ticket for him. He, as far as I'm aware, he really wanted out by Best of Both Worlds Part 1, and then decided, I like the money, so I shall come back, and stayed. Like, I'm sadly, I know he hated science fiction. He was very confused at most of the X-Men. Like, why am I on that comic book? Now, I might sound like I'm picking on the guy, and in some ways I might be, but in others, he just never cared. Anson Mount, you get a real strong feeling he understands Trek, and he has a real affinity for it. So yeah, I'm down with that, and I'm definitely not down with another series of Old Man Picard.
Matt says he was a TOS fan, and I mean, I got to say, if Anson Mount was such a big TOS fan, I think it's very appropriate that he's in the role that he's in.
Yep.
Jamal, any comments?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. If he, because he probably would have a little say, into, maybe how things ought to be directed or moving in this series or something, or if he's in it, and that would be kind of a relief to a lot of fans who feel like they've kind of been detached from Star Trek, by CBS. So, and as far as Patrick Stewart, I think he'll always be a theater actor. Personally, I think he likes to have an audience that respond to what he does immediately. And because when you're doing television, you're not in front of an audience. You do your scene and then that's it. Cut. On the scene, there's no applause, there's no adulation, there's none of that go with the theater. That I think he likes so much. And he's a good actor, and he's pretty very smart and everything. But yeah, it seemed to me like they really had to pull teeth out of him to get him to come back and do Star Trek Picard. From what I read about, the behind the scenes thing of trying to negotiate with him. So they must have offered him a lot of money.
Let me just say real quick one thing about Steven's comment here, and Steven's right, but I also want to say something that sometimes confrontations are justified. And we don't know what would have happened with Anson Mount and whoever the other person was. Actually, that may have even helped Star Trek, or maybe even helped his situation in the long run. Whatever happened, we'll find out someday. And maybe he was tired of how his character was being handled. Maybe it was personal with somebody. We don't know. Someday we'll find out.
It didn't stop him coming back for the short treks, so it can't have been that bad.
I think it might be just something they blew out of proportion. It was probably, I mean, if it was that bad, we probably would have seen him kicked off the show or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, because I think there's a lot of hotheads that were working at the time there, you know, behind the scenes, and you know, they wouldn't have thought twice, you know, if he was giving him any lip that, okay, you're out of here, you know, we're writing you out or something. So, but I don't think there was anything big with that. It was probably just a disagreement, and somebody heard it, and they reported it to the media, and then they, blew it up. You know, that's probably how that went. You know, so.
And let's talk Star Trek. Jump in with us. There's the link.
Bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me. I try to mute myself. Hello. There's my friend Infinity, who's not Infinity, but I call him Infinity.
Oh.
He's yes. Phi has arrived. Okay, guys. So let's talk Star Trek is going to be he's going to be joining us as Kurtzman goes home.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, if he's sidelined and they have to pay his stuff out, then they had if he's just like bringing coffee to people and he's getting paid $14 million bringing coffee, that's fine. Whatever they got to do to settle up with him. But somebody has to be in charge of this new Trek. That's not him. Of course.
It's actually the more you think about it, it's actually a really massive job. As much as I can't stand what he's done with it, like fair play to him to give it a crack. No matter what takes over, they're always going to get like a lot of stick. No one's ever going to be happy one way or another. Catch you soon, Ian. Yeah. Sorry, I had to beat you.
Yeah, hats off to him for having the balls to take on the job. Sure. Yeah. Now you're right. You're right about that. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
No, I mean, I don't believe. I'm very much in the corner of Henry Cavill when you keep hearing about like toxic fandom. No, it is passion. Now, a lot of people, no matter what you kick out, so people will moan one way or another. And that is just kind of the nature of people, because variety is the spice of life, just like spice is the spice of melange. So, yeah, like fair play to him. It didn't work out. That's fine. Let's get someone else in and see what they do.
Hello, Peggy. Peggy wants to throw in her 2 cents. How are you, Peggy? Hello?
Oh.
Okay.
You haven't muted her, have you?
How are you, Peggy? Hello, let's talk Star Trek. NB Geek, how are you? Okay.
You haven't muted her, have you?
Can you turn yourself up?
Oh, I can hear an echo. I heard my own voice. It was awful. Just joking. I love myself.
Okay. Can you turn yourself up? Let's talk Star Trek. Can you turn yourself up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Okay. Oh, I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me be here. I'm you know what the heck with it. You can see how ugly I look.
There's no such thing as ugly. Don't be daft.
Hey.
I can make anyone look pretty.
Yeah, that's what my daughter says, but she's a hairstylist.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually genuinely a barber. Right. It's not my name.
Oh, you're a barber? Oh, awesome. You and my daughter would get along great. My daughter, man, she did an awesome job on her on her brother's hair. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up now.
So, well, let's talk Star Trek. Let me get your take on this. What did you feel about this news? What did you think when you heard this news?
We're talking about the whole thing with Anton Mount and okay. I've got to be honest. I just don't care. You know, I loved Anton Mount in Hell on Wheels. I love that series, but I love westerns. And as much as I hate Star Trek Discovery, he was the one actor I honestly didn't feel like was phoning it in.
Yeah.
I don't know much more I can say about it than that.
So you felt he was phoning it in? You felt he was phoning it in Discovery?
No, not him. I felt he was the only one not phoning it in. No. I felt Anton Mount was the only one not phoning it in. I felt like he was the only one who actually was trying to work for his paycheck. I mean, I really felt like he was trying, and I was like, you're beating, and I'm like watching people beat him up. And then when I saw again at Pike and then at Picard, I'm like, ugh. No. I think if they had maybe given Anton Mount a Pike series in, say, the JJ universe or an alternate universe, I think Anton Mount really could pull it off. I think, like I said, I was saying was he's the one person out of STD I didn't feel like was phoning it in, or I felt like he actually gave a shit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sounds like my alternative universe idea might be quite popular after all. I'm glad to actually hear someone say the same thing.
Well, I mean, what's the problem with them saying that everything they've been doing is an alternate universe? I mean, wouldn't that make it a little more acceptable to Trek fans that everything is so different because it's not part of canon? I mean, why don't they just say that?
Yes, absolutely. That's all they had to do. That's why I'm okay with the J.J. Abrams. That's why I'm okay with the Mirror Universe. They're alternate times. All you had to do was just say Discovery was an alternate timeline and gone off from there. Yeah, it sucks because the writing sucks, but if they had just admitted it's an alternate timeline and not tried to shove it in the canon, which you can't fit this from the cage to where No Man has gone before. You can't fit this in. It makes no fucking sense. Nothing. You can't make it make sense. You can't justify it whatsoever. I don't care how much they try to do it. Sorry. I'm going to shut up.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's.
I'm going to bring in Peggy to give her 2 cents in. Hello, Peggy. How are you? No? Hello? Okay, she still hasn't fixed her thing. All right. So there was a comment here. Oh, Mike, I hope you're feeling better. That's Voyager actor Mike Satterfield. He played a couple of aliens in Voyager. I hope you're feeling better, Mike, and hope we can have you on soon, my friend. We got to update your interview. We got to do a fresh interview because we had a bad connection when we did your interview about Voyager. So we still got to go back and redo that, Mike. Gotcha. Okay, so now, where do you guys the JJ movies seem to be totally dead? Did you guys? What was your feelings on those? Let me start with 14. What did you like those 3 movies, and which one did you not like? If so,
I got to be honest. I enjoyed two of them. One of them I just couldn't stand, as it was a remake of the first version of the same movie. So basically, I didn't like the middle one. Only under the grounds I'd seen the first one already. It's fine. It is actually fine to watch. I mean, it's more like a Star Wars movie than it is a Star Trek movie, but it was entertaining. You know, I'm not going to say that I sat in the cinema and went, well, this is just dreadful and like my life is ruined, because I left the cinema and went, that's fine. I might buy it out on disc. I like my physical copies. The second one, the third one, I got to be honest, I actually really enjoyed in the Simon Pegg is a long-term Star Trek fan and gave it a good crack at writing something that fit in with the alternative universe and Enterprise. And, you know, it had Idris Elba in it, who's another great actor. It was fine. It was entertaining. I feel slightly sad that there isn't going to be another one, because I quite like Zachary Quinto as well. It might sound strange, but the guy looks like he was born to play Spock after Spock. A lot of people argue with him that, but that's fine. I enjoyed it, you know. So it's kind of a shame there isn't going to be more. If there is more, yeah, cool. If there isn't, well, that's a shame. And let's just see what else they can crack out with.
Ace, what about you? What did you feel about those three movies?
I can't really say too much on them. I've only seen a little bit of them before. It's never something that really actually piqued my interest at all, especially being the alternate timeline. I've never cared for the really sleek, futuristic designs like they did, where everything's like shiny and things, and I couldn't stand that. I'm kind of a classic Trek purist, I guess you could say, in that sense. And for me, the big focus that I've had when it comes to those movies is anything that's impacted with the prime timeline, such as the destruction of Romulus. That's about where I really pay most the attention to it. Um, Beyond that, I'm gonna be honest, I can't say too much about it. I know they didn't pass the first one. I know they didn't perform that well, and for me, if it's not part of the prime timeline, I don't care about it as much as kind of like It's like everyone else was saying. If you put like Picard, Discovery, all those in the alternate timeline, still wouldn't care for it, but at least it would be like, whatever. It's not as big of a deal.
Okay. Peggy, you there? You want to throw in your 2 cents?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yay! Okay. Sorry, guys. For some reason, I just had to take everything off and put it all back on again. So somebody sat there and just said that the new Star Trek movies are a reboot. They're not. They're actually a multiverse continuation of the original series. Spock, being the person who kills or accidentally destroys Romulus, is canon all the way up to the point where he's pushed into the multiverse. He's the one who actually confirms that everything prior to that movie is canon, and that the new universe can now be brand new. You can start new stories, you can start new timelines. Bringing in a Pike series at this point would be awesome in the new universe. I totally agree with that. But it's not a reboot. It's a continuation. It's still part of the original verse. It's just a different verse. It's not Prime. I don't know. Discuss.
Well, let me ask Jamal, what did you think about those three movies?
They were entertaining. I mean, I think I've mentioned before. I mean, I like science fiction in general. I mean, there's not really anything that I won't, at least watch once if it's science fiction. And it's a good take on a modern look of how Star Trek would be if they were to make it today. And so I was like, yeah, this is fun. It's moving all the time and people are doing crazy things, and and it was kind of fun. I kind of call it more like a parody of the original Star Trek. And since they call it an alternate reality, then you don't have to worry about stepping on canon, because they can pretty much make of it what they want. And so, yeah, I sat through all three of them. I liked the last one better than the other two. The middle one seemed like it borrowed too much from Star Trek 2. And The first one was okay to kind of see Kirk, what he was doing before he was Captain Kirk,
I did like being able, because again, Spock has actually gone back in time into another multi-universe. It's not like he got pushed into the new universe on his own time frame. He came before Kirk was even born. So anything that and Prime Spock makes a big point of saying, I'm not going to tell you this. And then he breaks that rule when he sits there and says, but let me tell you about Khan. But what I really liked about the Khan movie, and you guys can argue if it was not the best or whatever, but I thought what was interesting was in the first series, or in Prime's storyline, Khan and Kirk look alike. The Shatner and thank you. Look so similarly physically that you could see them being like the Lions and the Pride, yelling at each other and doing that fighting scene. And when you come in and you do the new one and you have Benedict Cumberbatch up against Zachary Quinto, they look enough alike that you sit there and go, you got the idea that he was Khan halfway, even before he starts to get weirded out, that it's like, no, he's going to be the Khan guy. Because spoilers, if anybody hasn't seen it.
No, it's
sorry.
okay. By now, it's okay.
It's been out for years.
But the fact that those two gentlemen look so much alike that you realize that, he's doing what they did in the first one. They're mirroring the two that are going to be the opposing ones. They're going to be the ones that are you've got Kirk and Montalban that look alike. They're the ones who are the big death scene. And in the second one, it's the Quinto and the Cumberbatch that are opposite. And if you look at that in that sense, it's almost like a mirror universe too. So you've got, I really enjoyed that. Just, okay, I like Benedict Cumberbatch, who doesn't, but those two gentlemen together and then comparing them to, and they didn't try and do that. They didn't try and sit there and say, we're going to have to find somebody who looks like Kirk to be Khan. Let's go ahead and make it Spock that's going to be his enemy in this one. Because the first, or the Prime Spock, is the one who sat there and said, you got to go after him. Does that make sense?
Yes. Peggy.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's talking Star Trek. Do you want to put in your 2 cents on those 3 films?
Yeah, go for it.
You expect me to you expect me to no. Oh my God. I would agree with almost everything. Here's my thing. I'm only going to say this very blatant. Look, I love the 3 JJ movies. Lens flares, no. But I love the fact that I believed he at least attempted to create Star Trek. And I liked Chris Pine, and I liked everybody who did it. But
Is someone eating crisps with chips?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm giving my cat treats here. She's begging.
It's cat feeding time now. Got it.
Yeah, she's been crawling on me and everything.
Yes, Fi. Why would anybody build a starship on the ground? Yeah. I let me just put in my 2 cents on those 3 movies. I kind of enjoyed the first one. It is definitely popcorn Trek.
I agree with that.
Most definitely. It was fun. It was fun to go to the movies.
But the first movie was popcorn Trek too. If you go all the way back to V'ger. I mean, that's popcorn. That's what you wanted. You wanted to go and see it and be fun. And
I think you're all missing. I think you're all missing a key point. You're missing why you experienced it. I could tell you why right now, why I love certain Star Trek movies, and they have a significant memory. Why do I love Star Trek 09? I'll tell you why. Because it was the first and only Star Trek movie I saw with my wife. And when Kirk was born and his father died, she was teary eyed. And I looked at her and watched her cry.
Aw.
Yeah.
You got to remember, there's more than just that. You got to remember the experience that comes with what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Let's take.
And maybe that's why I didn't like the last one as much.
Well, let's take. Well, if you don't mind, let me take last Undiscovered Country. It was the only Star Trek movie I ever saw in theater, and it was the only one. It was the only movie I ever saw with my father, and the only reason I ever knew what Star Trek was because in 1986, at 5 years old, Star Trek: Next Generation showed up on the TV. And my grandmother was like, "That motherfucker couldn't beat Kirk with nothing." I was like, "Grandma, who's Kirk?" I was like, "Grandma, who's Kirk?" Grandma's like, "Come downstairs." Grandma was like, "Come downstairs." And you know what she did? She said, "Sit down." She put me in front of a VHS cassette tape. It was Star Trek. Put it in and sit.
That's awesome. It's funny because my mom is a major Star Trek fan. This is a woman who broke dates with my dad when they were starting to date because Star Trek was on. And she actually got to talk to Gene Roddenberry very briefly on the phone once when she was at work, and he called in to her work. So Star Trek has been in my family for a long, long, long time. And my mom, when she saw the first J.J. Abrams movie, got very upset over the whole Spock and Uhura thing. And I sat there and I was like, Mom, that actually was supposed to be the way it occurred in the series, in the original series. And I know that because my mother-in-law actually used to write for the series. So she sat there and she was like, "Oh, wait, Spock and Uhura were supposed to get together?" And I said, "Yes, because they figured on television at that time it would be okay for an alien and a black woman to kiss, and the world would be okay with that, versus a white man and a black woman." That sounds totally strange now, but in that time, that's what they were thinking. So when she went back and rewatched the movie, when she went back and rewatched J.J. Abrams' movie with that understanding that, oh, that actually had been an idea back then, okay, now they can be together. And I just thought that was funny that she got upset over that, the kissing scenes, versus anything else that he did in that movie but she loved the guy. She loves Carl Urban as the Doctor. She thought that was awesome. He did a great job with that. She was a little upset with the Takai gay side of that thing, but even George Takai is upset with that. So it's interesting to go back and say, I think J.J. Abrams actually went back and read some of those original scripts to say, let's see what we can bring out on
that's actually something that J.J. Abrams is really, really good at. Sorry to jump in.
No, go ahead, please.
But he's always been very, very good at member berries, like you see on South Park. He is. He picks up on certain things that you're either forgotten or is well known, and pumps them out and puts them in. It doesn't matter whether it be a TV show or a movie. He's always been very, very, very good at that. But that's not always necessarily a good thing, and it's not always necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. But yeah, sorry.
No, this is a discussion. Talk. Discuss.
Okay. I had somewhere I was going to go, could someone please remind me what you just said? Because I had such a thing, but then the
so
guy in
sorry.
the guy in the awesome looking plaid
It's a ludicrous speed shot.
No.
He's going to be a lumberjack.
No.
He wants to be a lumberjack. He's from the UK.
No, he's got to get beard. Nope, he's got to get here first.
No, I'm sticking with the Stark beard, but yeah, I'm so sorry, mate.
Okay,
oh no. No, I remember what I was gonna say. No, here's my thing about the J.J. Abrams. I my wife and I went and saw them, and my wife had her experience with her father and Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I had the experience with my father and my grandfather for Star Trek Next Generation, and then my grandmother who couldn't stand TNG for nothing. And she's the one who put, Star Trek, the TOS in front of me. So while I would have 1 week of watching TNG, I'd watch, many episodes of TOS. And I would ask questions. I was like, why does this look different? Why does that look different? And, I learned about technology and that's why I became a computer guy. I mean, I became an IT guy because of Star Trek. I mean, Scotty and Data were my idol.
Yeah, see, that's fair. That makes sense as well. Sorry.
Well, that's happened to a lot of people. A lot of people got their jobs now because of Star Trek. I mean, people are out there being shuttle and communications executives because of Uhura, and there's people who are doing trying to. I mean, we have our cell phone, for God's sakes, because of Star Trek. So the world was created by Star Trek after a point.
Okay, I have one bitch that have not gotten. Every TOS person got on another Star Trek series movie other than Uhura. And that pissed me off. That pissed me off. I have still not let it go. I gotta say, she's a better woman than I would have been. Because I've been like, what the fuck, man?
I mean, fair enough. I mean, everyone's got to have a gripe about something, haven't they? Really. I mean, I don't think it ever. The fact that I had that face of confusion and had to think about it is sort of bad, really. Because you're right. I mean, like,
you're right, because
was
McCoy.
Next Gen, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I actually asked that question at a convention once. I actually asked Brent Spiner, how did you feel being the person to basically hand off the torch to Star Trek Next Generation? And you were the first to do that. They've done that in Picard to DS9 and then Voyager on. But how did you feel doing that one little scene? And he sat there and said that it was like they were getting blessed by the group, and that it was an amazing deal to talk with them. But you're right. Why wasn't it Uhura? I mean, Uhura and Bones are the only two at that point that would have possibly still been around, and women live longer than men, so why wasn't she the one who did the torch passing? That's a good point.
Yeah, but the original series was Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, so that's probably why they picked McCoy.
Okay, yeah.
They probably should have picked Spock, though. In fairness, is the way I would have.
No, because Spock was doing something else by then on Vulcan, I think, was the whole thing. Because he's gonna be the longest. I mean, he's 23 in Discovery. That's what they said, that Spock is only 23 years old when he starts on Discovery. Really? This kid has a long lifespan, and he's into this new universe at what, 210 or something? I don't know. How old is Spock when he goes into the multiverse? I'd like to know that. Anybody know that answer?
I've got a weak gripe for that, though, to be fair.
Huh?
I said he's a well-traveled man.
He's a well-traveled man. Yeah.
Oh, welcome back to your channel.
Hey, I
PJ.
am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That happens
Hey,
sometimes.
nice to have you back to your own channel, buddy.
What did I miss? What did I miss, guys?
Arguments. Basically, we have shot at each other, and
Yes, we're all fighting off arrows now. It's horrible. We're using lasers and stuff.
yeah, and I've
Okay,
been really rude. I've talked over everyone. The whole works. It's been dreadful.
Let me
I'll
just
tell
say
you what happened. It's hey, I'll take the brunt of it all. I'm the one person who probably loves all three J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, so I will take all the blame for everything that went wrong.
Okay.
Nothing went wrong. Everything's fine, really. We were just discussing Star Trek.
Gotcha.
We're discussing Spock. It's multi-life.
Let me say, guys,
Hey,
that,
I have a stupid question. I really have a stupid question. This is Orville Nation's channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck aren't we talking about what we hope to see on the Orville? Come on!
Because
JP
likes to discuss things that influence the Orville.
We will talk about that. Yeah. We will get into that. Let me just add one thing, you guys, that I heard you guys talking about V'ger and before, and we had Alan Dean Foster on, who wrote the script for Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and we hope to have.
He also ghostwrote Star Wars, Splinter in the Mind's Eye.
Yeah, he did. And so we're going to have him. We hope to have him on again sometime. You know, we have to set it up. We hope to have him on again sometime to talk about just Star Trek Motion Picture. Because last time we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff. So we hope Ace, you can't hear it. You can't hear some of us. Is that correct?
I can't hear Ace.
While everyone's been quiet, Matt Graham asked the question: did Chekhov ever appear in a Next Gen movie or whatever? And yes, he did. He was in Generations. There you go, Matt Graham.
That's V'ger.
Cool. Yeah, that's V'ger.
Wow. Who was in the and they all came back for one of the movies though.
Very cool.
Where's V'ger? Oh, neat.
I want to try to make that out of clay at some point.
Was that like in 3D or something? Or I mean, like 3D product or?
No, it's 2D.
It's a model.
Shut up! I know it's 3D. You know what I meant. Was it from a 3D machine? Did you replicate that?
No.
That's what a 3D planter is. It's a replicator. What?
If you shut the fuck up, I tell you how it got.
Okay. Now we're definitely throwing arrows and lasers.
This used to be a civilized
affair. All right. Yeah. Eagle Moss.
Eagle Moss.
Yeah. Thank you. Now listen, Eagle Moss, you can find some things, but if you go to Amazon, you can find others. Trust me, I got some good. This is one of the special orders. This was hard to find. I actually got the Daedalus class off of Amazon. It should be in a week. And I tell you what, you guys talk, I'll just show you. And you can see if you decide you want to spend some money.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
We have let me see. Let's get Hail V'ger. Yes, Hail V'ger. So let me just say that as far as those three movies were concerned, I didn't think that the second portrayal of Khan was done well, and that's pretty cool.
Space Dog, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, sorry, carry on, PJ. Khan
that's beautiful.
Great.
And as far as I had a really big problem with a lot of stuff in Star Trek Beyond. I think that space station, the Yorktown space station they had made is no sense. So vulnerable. So vulnerable to everything.
No. That was sick. Right. I love that space station. I love the carpets.
Go on.
Please continue.
No, honestly, like, I had a boner for that space station. I thought it looked amazing, but it was a bit odd. It was like a marble in space, but I thought it was sick.
I think you also have to remember that again, the series is the movies are set up early. What we would now be, I mean, even before the five-year voyage of the original series. So all of that tech isn't supposed to really look high class, but it's supposed to look. It comes back to the Star Wars issue where you sit there and you watch the Star Wars movies out of order, and you're sitting there going, why does all this stuff look new and much more better than it did in the original? Well, again, that's the time is backwards. It's supposed to look shiny and new, but not be defended as well as it should be down the road in Voyager and have all these.
So Peggy, let me ask you, what was your first impression when you heard the news today about the Pike series? How did that initially?
I like the guy who's playing Pike on Discovery. I think he's really doing a good job. I think I understand the wanting of having a Pike series, but I do not believe we need a Kirk series. And Kirk does not need to come on to the Enterprise at all. They transfer captains over all the time. You're seeing that with Discovery. So there's no need to have a Kirk. I kind of am in the Shatner is Shatner, and if you're gonna don't mess with the timeline. But
Look,
you can have all of those.
Kirk only meant.
You could have all of those Pike episodes without ever bringing Kirk onto the ship. He's not. I mean, have Spock, have first number one, have all of these, and then sit there and go, okay, we're going to end it with Pike's destruction and the accident that causes him to have that.
No, don't want to see that again. Sorry.
Well, no, right. No, I
No,
right.
that would not.
Do it off
that wouldn't
screen.
even
Do it
fit.
off screen.
No,
Do it off screen. I totally agree. Do it
Oh
off screen.
no.
But you don't need to bring Kirk in.
No.
You're going to watch that force people to watch the whole original series again after Pike's series. And I said that earlier.
No.
But you got to have faith in the heart.
No. Canon is already set. Canon is Star Trek TOS. That's canon. That's it. Everything after TOS is branched off. Kirk specifically said in the menagerie he met Pike briefly when he was promoted to fleet captain. So that's it. Nothing else.
We don't need to see that. And we don't need to see that. We can have that in a passing. Oh, I met this new kid who just became captain. His name is Kirk, and go on with the rest of the story. You don't need to bring Kirk into Pike if you're going to do a Pike series.
Yeah.
I'd be all right with it.
And
exactly.
And how many people, when they watch Discovery, and I know some of you guys haven't, but how many people, when number one came on board very briefly the first time, thought, oh, is she doing the voice of the computer as well? I'm sorry. That was like, she came on and I was like, oh, is she going to do the voice of the computer? Is she? And then I was like, wait, wrong lady. Sorry. Yes, no, I'm right. But that's how I am a Star Trek. I know my people. Thank you.
I wanted to know if she's going to be Nurse Chapel.
No, she's not Nurse Chapel, but I'd like to see, we can see who's going to be Nurse Chapel. I can see a new Nurse Chapel.
Honestly, I'd like that.
The girl who's on the girl who did Nurse Chapel.
Are you all really determined to ruin my childhood now? You want to really do this kind of destruction?
Yes.
The number one. Let's Okay, you know what? Y'all unleash something here. You can mute me and I'll
Guys,
go away.
So wait, let me just say one thing, guys. Let me just say one thing. Let me just say one thing. We need to get back on topic, so I'm gonna let Let's Talk Star Trek say what he wants, and then I got to bring in some other guests, and so go ahead. Let's talk Star Trek. Say your piece.
Okay, here is my piece. The original Star Trek pilot, The Cage. I didn't get to this in my first Star Trek absence because I said it offline. I said this. Pike is a sexist. And he is.
Oh, right, yeah.
He says this is a human. And then Major Barrett is number one. And Pike is like, I don't feel comfortable having a woman up here. And she looks at me as, oh, I'm sorry, number one, you're different. She goes, I forgot what she said, but the look on her face was like, you know what? Fuck you.
I have to rewatch The Cage now. Thank you.
Because quite frankly, I would have loved to look. Majel Barrett, loved her as Loxana Troy, loved her as a computer, loved her as Nurse Chapel. Honestly, if you see her as Loxana Troy, tell me she wouldn't have done that kind of acting as a great first officer. Tell me she could not have been the first woman first officer and really broke some pounds.
She would have scared the crap out of Pike as Deanna Troy. She scared Picard out. I mean, every time he showed up on Picard, he was like, "I'm out of here. Bye. Let's go. I'm going to go the opposite direction." She would have scared.
I'm just going to say this. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I'm shutting up.
Guys, I want to say hello to number one sci-fi who's joining us, and I'm gonna have to. Hi, number one.
Hello.
Oh,
how are you?
How are you today, my friend?
Okay.
I wanted to ask what was your first reaction to the news of Picard of Pike? Excuse me.
Of Pike.
Well, I mean, hopefully they do it right. Is what I hope. What the little glimpse that we saw of Pike in season 2 of Discovery, specifically on the Enterprise, was not much. So he was mainly, obviously, on the Discovery. So I want to see, the interaction between him, number one, and Spock, the trifecta, as you will. Like it was originally, Kirk, Bones, and Spock. So I think that's right to at least do it with the 3, to kind of go old school like original series was. Mm-hmm. So as long as they do it correctly and don't throw in red angels or yellow angels or whatever angels, then, just keep it true. Don't try to futurize it, for lack of a better term. Don't try to make it way past the era that it is supposed to be, set in, like Discovery was, for crying out loud,
I actually want to bring in a point that I noticed watching the second season of Discovery, was the scene where Pike is talking to the girl from Menagerie who's on when she's doing the whole talking. Yes, thank you. I found it really interesting in the sense that they tried so hard not to gloss over the fact that they were still in that time frame of thought back in the 1970s, with the whole girls have to look cute and fashionable and we want to look nice, because nowadays we would have been like, that's horrible, and you should look the way you want to, and you should be proud of who you are. And she's sitting there going, no, I want to be this, I want to look beautiful, I want to be sweet, and they didn't change that canon. I thought that was rather an interesting aspect of taking the feminist issue of, we have to be the proper young ladies, and we've had this life, and we're supposed to look cute for our captains, which goes back to your whole I'm uncomfortable with having a first officer be a woman on the bridge type thought. And I thought, because besides that small point, Pike was being very feministic. Yes, send Michael out to do this. Send number one to do this. No, we're having these conversations. My first officer for security is a woman. So it was kind of interesting that they did try and stick to that time thought bubble of when the cage was or when the original first pilot was done, and the whole idea of going back and being able to look how you wanted to present yourself, not.
And I like the part where Pike was getting a time crystal, and he got a glimpse of his future, and he had to decide, okay, if you take this crystal, you're going to be, this is your future. You're going to be in the, chair all immobilized and stuff like that. And he accepted that, So
yeah. And that was so true to Star Trek. That was exactly right, that speech he gives is, I just watched this yesterday, so it's still fresh in my mind. That whole speech of, I am an officer. I am here to help my people. I'm going to be the one who rushes into danger and help them, not turn around and run away. If that's my future, I'm going to accept it, and I like that. Yeah.
Fortean, what do you? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish number one.
That and the Navina part that where unfortunately they had to probe Burnham's mind too because she was mean to Spock, for crying out loud. Okay, whatever, but just bringing back the Telosians, and everything. At least they did that justice. They did that justice, and I thought that putting him eventually in the big boxy wheelchair, for lack of better terms, they at least called back to what we originally saw in the original series.
And if you think about it, when they actually did the whole scene with Spock bringing Pike onto the bridge in the original series, that is one of the first times we actually really saw in the show an arc type situation. If you hadn't watched the pilot, people were not going, where's the pilot? I want to go back and watch it. But to have that be able to be inserted into a show and go, this is actually from prior to the first episode that you saw with Kirk. That's actually one of the first times you actually ever really saw that occur. It wasn't a double, it was a two-parter, I think, when it originally aired, but it was arc is what we would now think of as an arc type show, in a sense. We could actually do all three of those episodes together in a row and it'd be a movie.
What about this question, guys? What do you, Fortean, and Jamal, what do you guys think about this question? Would Pike series be before or after Discovery?
Post Discovery. It'd be after Discovery.
I'd like to actually see what they were doing in those 5 years during the Klingon War. Why not do that? What he's out in the universe, off being not knowing about the Klingon War. What are they finding out? And they come up against the cage and that would be kind of cool. But then you get to stop it at Discovery when Discovery is going to start taking over.
If you start doing that, all you're going to get is
it's more prequel issues.
TA. Well, no. All you're going to get is TA and torpedoes, as Roy Schneider said about the second season of Sequest. If you start going down that route of that's how you'd say it, route of let's go into this war. Route. Yeah, it is route. That is the correct word.
I live in England. I understand the route.
Oh, good. If we go down that route and have a series set entirely around a war that you just
it's a series. Okay, yes.
Yeah, and torpedoes. That's all it is. That's all you're going to get. Like, who are we going to fight this week? Yeah, boring.
It's not going to be Klingons. It'll be.
Well, of course it would. Always be.
Klingons. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be Klingons because he's away from the war. You're doing that 5 years that he's away from the war. He sat out the war.
No, don't want it.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
It'd be better to focus on something. At least we don't have to hear about Mikey Spock every week off Spock's voices, right? Oh, my sister's amazing, is she? That's great. Can we talk about something else, please, Spock? Well, she'd figure all this out. Yeah, great. Like this, no.
Guys, I want to say thank you to Peggy and to Let's Talk Star Trek, because I have to bring in a few other people. So thank you. Do you guys just want to say goodbye and plug your channels?
Yeah, it's a channel.
Yeah, my channel is Let's Start Star Trek 605, and I'm developing a huge man crush on that flannel shirt there.
I love the flannel shirt. But then I love
I do too. I was like, oh my god! I was like,
it's the man that makes the shirt.
That is so good.
Peggy, you don't have a channel, right, Peggy?
Hey. I do not, but thank you guys so much for letting me speak. I was in there typing away in the chat going, I need to speak. And once my microphone, you guys were very sweet in letting me talk, so I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Organization, you have a good one, buddy.
Good night, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Thank you, Peggy. Anytime, Peggy. All right. Let's Captain Trek and DJ are here.
Yes, DJ.
And
get a tux. Do I get a man crush?
Nah, but you're rocking that tux.
Where's the Momo mask?
I don't want to do that. PJ will kick me off the stream if I throw that on.
I want to get your opinions, guys. I want to ask DJ, what was your initial thought about this whole Pike series and Captain Trek as well?
All right. My quick impression was, okay, we saw decent things out of Mount and all that. That was the best parts of season 2 of Discovery. But as cynical as I am about what CBS has been doing for the last couple of years, I really don't have too much hope for it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm way too cynical after I've seen Star Trek Discovery, Picard, Twilight Zone, etc., etc., etc.
Do you think Kurtzman is still in charge?
Probably somewhere in the background.
Okay.
I think he still has a strong influence. And if he doesn't, then we'll see improvement. He may not be front man, but he's still got a strong influence there. I seriously believe that. And I have absolutely no hope for this new Trek series. None. You're like CBS would have to give me CBS All Access in order for me to watch it.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about this question before we saw? Is Discovery from Jarmo? Is the Pike series before or after Discovery? What do you guys think about that? To everybody.
My guess, it'll probably take place right at the point where they split off.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I think too.
Everybody thinks that? Number one?
Yeah. I mean, that makes the most sense.
After they all agree never to talk about Mikey Spock again.
And I like what our friend Fi here puts up. How about
until season 3 of Discovery anyway?
How about the Adventures of Captain Rachel Garrett, the Enterprise C? That would be sweet.
Which bit
well,
where she gets
we know
captured
how
by
that
the
ends,
Romulans?
unfortunately.
We do know how it ends.
Well, the thing of it is, though, is she may not have been the original captain of that ship, because it was the Enterprise C was around for quite a few years, so the original captain might have been somebody else. So you could probably base a series on the first captain of the Enterprise C and how that ended up. But
should have done an entire series based on Captain Harriman and the Enterprise B. Would have been awesome.
That's an interesting point too. If they want to be so diverse, they could go Sulu.
I think once Picard is over with, just again go do a series after that. But yeah, maybe leap it forward like about 100 years or whatever. The 30th century or 31st or whatever century Discovery is going to be in. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see how that turns out, but I have a feeling it's going to be kind of goofy, but I guess we'll see, you know.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Sulu's not gay. I just picked up on the Infinity there. He's not white. Yep, that's fine. That's true. But he had a daughter who was the helmsman for the Enterprise B. So
that's right.
Yeah, no, he wasn't gay. Even that was something that George Takei was really angry about during Star Trek Beyond. And he was like, "Yeah, I might be, but I don't. My character wasn't. I didn't play him that way." So yeah, fair enough. So yeah.
Yeah, but they're saying, well, yeah, of course now they're saying he is gay. So
no, he won't though. Nah.
Well, that's the weird thing. Is he in this universe? Because we know they say he is in JJ universe.
Yeah, that's weird.
What is he in? Are they going to keep it?
He's gay in one and not in the other.
We don't know.
Not a choice. You're born that way.
Well, I mean, you know, in the mirror universe, everybody seems to be bisexual. So I can't, you know, having a different universe. Why not? But
well, yeah, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's just bisexual. Like maybe everyone's bisexual in the future. Maybe that's just what it is.
Maybe Sulu is just a barber now. He's not even,
just because I'm a barber doesn't mean that I'm, not fluent in the ways of the world.
Well, I want to see Fortean cutting Captain Ed Mercer's hair on the Orville.
Yeah, who doesn't? I'd love that.
And him saying like, "Damn it, Ed, I'm a barber, not a engineer." Or
do you know what? McCoy never said "damn it," not once in all of the original series.
He didn't?
No, because it was classified as what you'd call a curse word, like a swear. So actually, he just went, "I'm a doctor, Jim, not a bricklayer," or whatever. Yeah, never said "damn it." It must have been a movie or something. Yeah. But yeah, damn it, Ed. I'm a barber, not a doctor. I don't know what that spot is.
You know, I have a theory about the George Takei sexuality thing, and I'm just going to throw this out here, and you guys can discuss that. But why don't we just say let's take a thing like Gene Roddenberry was always talking about how humanity evolved. Why don't we just say that also as humanity evolved in the distant future, people aren't so uncomfortable with having relationships with people of the same sex. That maybe that kind of prejudice is just gone, and people are more comfortable with that. And maybe in this other universe, Sulu took the other path, where the Sulu that we know in the Gene Roddenberry universe is, basically straight. But it doesn't mean that he's either one or the other. It just means that the relationship that he found was different than the one that he ended up finding in the other universe.
Yeah, I ain't touching that.
I can see that.
Yeah, barge pole. I ain't touching that. Move on.
Now, is there any of you here who think that there's a chance of this working and actually that we've somehow turned a corner? And I gotta say, let me just paint this picture, guys. CBS has lost a shitload of money. It's not like Sherry Redstone, who's taken over now CBS Viacom. She's not oblivious to this. I mean, there are rumors out there that she's told people, told Star Trek to get its act together. Is there a chance that we've turned a corner? I mean, is there a chance that Star Trek is being saved somehow by this?
Yes, there's a chance, but there's a chance that anything can happen. Right? There's a chance that when the football come back, Chelsea could win the league rather than Liverpool, but it's not going to happen. But maybe this will turn it around. I don't know. It depends on what comes out. Like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. So if it does come out and it is actually quite good, hey, it could completely turn all of its fortunes around and all of Star Trek around. But it could come out and it's another Kurtzman joint, and everyone goes, "Yeah, no more of this." So.
The one positive thing I'm going to say about it is there are, if you look at the control panels behind them, tactile controls, unlike the other series with touch screens.
Right.
Yeah.
And that I like.
Right. And I saw the little scope type thing that they used to have on the menagerie.
Yes.
By the stations and the captain's chair, if I remember correctly. So yeah, as long as they keep it as close to what we saw in the menagerie, basically, then I'm okay with that. I mean, obviously they're going to change it up 25% for lack of better term. But no, I mean, they got to change it up some, obviously. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be great because I mean, Captain. I mean, I like, and don't get me, I like Captain Norca a lot in season 1 because he was so different. He was from the spoiler alert, mirror universe, but I thought he was the best character in season 1 of Discovery, and I thought Pike was the best character in season 2. So you had two vastly different captains. One, who turned out to be evil, and one that was amazing. Amazingly good.
All right, I'm going to say something's kind of unpopular with some, but I didn't mind Picard as much because it wasn't as bad as Discovery, and at least it was during a current time frame where they weren't stepping all over canon. They did stupid things in the series. Don't get me wrong; there was things I could growl about, but it was a lot better. But with Pike, they're going to go back in time again, and if they don't hire a bunch of people that know what the hell they're doing, they're going to stomp all over the canon again, and they're going to just not be able to do it.
It's basically going to be revisionist history if they do it the wrong way.
And it's still going to be garbage because they're going to have them damn Klingons running around that look like Klingorks.
I hope not.
Oh, please don't get me started on that, DJ.
I want to remind everybody to please sub to DJ's channel. He's almost over the threshold of being monetized, and please go watch his content and sub to his channel.
Well, hour-wise, but stuff-wise, I'm way lacking.
Yeah, I think they're going to get rid of the Klingorks for this.
I don't see how they can get rid of the Klingorks because they've already canonized.
They explain it away by saying, they got some disease or whatever.
And I actually reckon they won't double down on that. I reckon that they will turn around. Look, when they pumped out that video today with Anson Mount, Ethan Peck, and Rebecca Romijn saying that we're going to try and do a optimistic Star Trek science fiction vision of the future, we have been listening. I'm pretty certain that they're going to turn around and go, let's make Klingons look like Klingons rather than these really bizarre looking multi-penised creatures. It just, I think they'll do something. I don't think they'll double down. I think they will turn around and go, we'll just ignore that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just been disappointed way too much lately in all my favorite series and canons and shows, and I'm just very skeptical.
Yeah. I understand that, but occasionally, DJ, you need a little bit of faith of the heart, and it'll be fine.
I so hate that song. I so hate that song.
What this one's called? What? Strange New Worlds, right? That's the name of this series, supposedly.
Quite probably, yeah.
Strange New Worlds, yeah.
Yeah. So,
hello, Script Doctor.
So as they give us, as long as they give us Strange New Worlds and the exploration aspect of Starfleet and stuff like that, I'd be cool with that.
We have a question here from Jim Henry, guys. What did you guys think about the Klingons in Into Darkness?
Right,
Klingons
too. Yeah, they were different because when you heard about the shuttle and everything to talk to them, about Khan, who somehow got the Konos back. I mean, yeah.
I like the helmets they had them wearing. That I thought that was pretty cool. They kind of goes with the armor, that they wear normally. It always kind of looked weird that even on the TV shows, they had all this armor, but they never really had anything over their head, basically. So it kind of finished off that suit of armor kind of looking thing. They had that all topped off right to the head, with the helmet. So
I think the helmet was probably the best bit. In fairness, as soon as he took his helmet off and he had all those piercings, I was like, really?
Yeah,
really. But I can't say much. Like it was alright. Like the movie was entertaining, but like the bling on, I don't know about that. I wasn't so keen on that. I know the movie wasn't entertaining. It was number 2. That was cack. Yeah, no, the whole thing was awful. Sorry, I just remembered what I was talking about then. Yeah, it's all pants.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a proper mic drop, wasn't it?
No. Script Doctor, check your DM, please. So I think it basically comes down. For me, it comes down to really what's going on behind the scenes. Let me ask you guys this question. Some people say that the Les Moonves executives that were left were making Kurtzman's work more difficult. Even though Kurtzman is very woke, apparently some people say that these guys were making it even more woke and more distant from Star Trek. Any thoughts on that comment, guys?
I reckon that's well charitable towards. The more I think about it, the more charitable towards Kurtzman. I reckon that probably is.
Yeah, it is very charitable.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't really do much justice with the Dark Universe, did he? Anything he's touched, really. But like I said, I'll be charitable, like I have been already with him. Like he had the guts to give it a go, but no, don't know.
Nobody wants to comment on that. So it's Kurtzman. It's not the Les Moonves execs making Kurtzman do stuff.
To be honest, I don't know enough about that kind of part of the Star Trek franchise to really give an honest answer to that, because what we see on the television is the end product of all their work. And when we say we don't like it, then that falls on everybody's shoulders, whoever they are, that was behind making it. So whether Moonves was behind it or not, we don't like it. We just don't like Discovery. Don't like Picard. We don't like what they did before. It's just But like I said, because I don't know all the inside political gossip that goes on with CBS and all that, and who is what and where, but I can't really look at it at a timeline and say, well, he started this mess and he's carrying it on, and this one, you know what I'm saying? So I really don't know that much about that.
I would say, Rose, token inclusivity. Inclusivity. Captain Trek, are you sure you want to step out for a little bit? Or bring you back in later?
I would like, please.
Okay, thanks. We're gonna have Captain. You can come back in. We'll bring you back in later, Captain. We're gonna bring in Script Doctor.
Script Doctor.
Oh, wait a second. Okay. Hello, Script Doctor. How are you, my friend?
I'm well. How are you all doing tonight, guys? Thank you so much for the invite.
Freezing.
Yeah, it was well, Captain wanted to give his spot up to you when he saw you in the chat. And what's your take on all this? Just thought we're very curious to see what you think.
Well, when I first saw it on Rebecca Romaine's Twitter, I was like, oh, this will be nice. And then later I got some emails from some friends saying that they all thought it would be a good idea until they saw that Akiva Goldsman was the guy that penned the pilot, which is terrible because the guy got lucky with his Oscar, which isn't for an original screenplay. It's for an adaptation of a book, which means he didn't have to do much work. He just had to take the best parts of that book and weave them together into a story, which would be A Beautiful Mind. And they gave him an Oscar for that. He's been riding that award ever since. He's never done anything notably good since that film. Terrible track record. Every time he gets a chance at like superheroes or science fiction, he botches it up. He works on the Titans TV show for DC Universe, which is also atrocious. And he had a big hand in Star Trek Picard and in Star Trek Discovery, if I recall correctly. And they're not very good shows, in my opinion. So the potential for this is completely vanished now. If he's the guy that's writing the pilot and setting the tone for this series.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear on one thing, that the movie you just mentioned, the Mind,
Beautiful Mind,
that's based on a true story.
Yes, it's based off a true story, and the author of that book, whose name escapes me, she's actually a really good author. So I'm just trying to remember. I'm gonna have to search it because it's been a while since I've read the book.
Yeah. But that's another thing. See, right then and there, we're also seeing that his most valued work is not original, in the sense that he's not coming up with an original story. He's really doing somebody's work on somebody's existing life.
Yes, it's yes. So that book was written by Sylvia Nassar, or Nassar, I think it's pronounced, and yeah, she's a pretty good writer. Kiva Goldsman just got the rights to adapt the script, and I don't think he was the only one who worked on it. I think it went through a couple other people before he got involved, but he won arbitration for credit on that, which basically means that he changed enough of the script from its original inception to be recognized as his work primarily. And he reaped a whole lot of benefits from that. But we've seen since that award, he hasn't really. Well, you kind of see the level of his actual skill and talent, and it's very subpar. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think about Script Doctor? What did you think about the news we got earlier in the week? Well, there's just like 2 or 3 days ago, about the possible the Mandalorian actor playing Kirk again. Do you think there's any truth to that?
Them bringing in Kirk is just a poor idea, in my opinion. It could happen. I mean, it's really strange because I only know what's going on the writing side of things. I don't know if they're doing auditions or casting scouts during, like, over Zoom or Skype or StreamYard service or anything like that. If they are, I mean, it's helpful, it's interesting, but I don't know. I mean, even that actor in The Mandalorian, that is not his best performance. I'm pretty sure he's done better things since that show. He was not directed well. That was a Dave Filoni episode that he wrote and directed. And Dave Filoni is better with voice actors, I suppose, than the screen actors, because I did not buy into this. Was this Calican was his name? The kid. Toro Calican. Yeah. I mean, that's not the actor's name. That's the character he played. Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember him. I don't remember him in The Mandalorian. I haven't seen him. I don't remember who he was. He's a gunslinger, right?
He was the bounty hunter on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Here's the other part that I'm worried about, because a lot of actors that I've met in my career, they can all do the Kevin Pollak version of William Shatner. So Kevin Pollak's a stand-up comedian. He does the classic, pause acting William Shatner. I think if you're a big fan on YouTube of the Fandom Menace community, you have Doomcock. He does Kevin Pollak doing William Shatner, and he does it really well. I'm worried that some type of similar approach might be done because Ethan Peck is doing Leonard Nimoy's The Cage Spock with he's boisterous in his delivery for a lot of his stuff.
Yes.
And I'm worried that because they're taking that too literally, if they decide to run that course with Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, it's going to be odd because, for starters, Kirk never served aboard the Enterprise in his early days. He was aboard the USS Republic. And then I think after that he went to the Farragut, and then from there he became captain of the Enterprise, which I think is like 8 years after the last season of Discovery that just aired. So I don't know what they would do with him at that point, because even if they cast this actor as Kirk, I wish him all the luck and to break a leg and really knock it out of the park. But I don't think he's going to be given the content to do so, given that it's Akiva Goldsmith is probably going to be in that writer's room. I know Alex Kurtzman is focused on Clarice right now, so he's probably not really going to be too heavily involved in this show, which I guess is some positivity to it, but who knows? But yeah, it's just it's weird. It's really weird. It is also perfect timing too, because it's about a month and maybe 5 weeks since Star Trek Picard completed. So this is perfect timing for Secret Hideout to release some Star Trek news. And after this runs its course for, I think, about maybe 3 or 4 days, we won't get any more news for another 6 weeks. You can almost say you watch to it, pretty much.
Gotcha. What about now? This question came up before. Do you think Script Doctor, this is going to take place after or before Discovery?
Most likely will take place after. Just seems the only logical action for this company to do. They've established the main 3 characters of the Enterprise: Pike, Number 1, and Spock. They have the uniforms. They might still have some parts of the sets in early February. Late February. I went down to Pinewood, Toronto, and just asked around and talked to some people I knew around there, which was a couple of security guards and whatnot. And they were taking down sets. They wouldn't tell me it was Star Trek Discovery, but we know from what Secret Hideout is advertised that they rented out almost every major set on Pinewood and Pinewood, Toronto for 5 years. That was in early 2015, which means that 2020 would be the year they have to take everything down and get out. And they've also CBS has also set up a studio in Mississauga, which is a town, or a larger town. They call themselves a city. They're not really, but they're a larger town west of Toronto. So they could break down some of the sets, salvage what they can, and rebuild it over there, and not have to pay Pinewood those rental fees that are quite expensive, because it's a really big place. They have an artificial seashore on their lot, so it's a big area.
Wow.
So it'd be cheaper for them to continue on that way, because I think in Discovery they mentioned that the uniforms that they wear on the Enterprise are like the new uniforms. So that's probably what they'll stick with in continuity.
Do not covet thy neighbor's starship. At least we've got the new uniforms. And very colorful they are.
Yeah, they look not very comfortable. They look rather rigid and tight, and
Yeah, I don't think I'd be comfortable wearing them. I'm not good with tight things.
Earth is hollow and full of giants. That's interesting.
I also feel a little bit for these actors, because from what they said in the video that was on Rebecca Romaine's Twitter, they said that this Star Trek show is going to be more optimistic and hopeful and whatnot. And part of me doesn't think that's going to be the case, or if it is, it's going to be done in a patronizing manner. That's going to kind of be averse to longtime fans of Star Trek, and the ones that actually did like, say, Discovery, Picard, and maybe have gone back to enjoy the Next Generation and the original series.
Script Doctor, what are the chances that? I mean, what are the chances that? I mean, CBS can't bleed any more money. What are the chances that Cherry Redstone has kind of given Star Trek an ultimatum, whether Kurtzman is involved or not?
Well, Kurtzman's involved regardless. It's his company, Secret Hideout, that has a contract on Star Trek for, I think, another 2.5 years. So she can't break that contract, as far as I know, without having to pay out a huge dividend. And the other part is Netflix, I think, has a deal with Secret Hideout regarding Star Trek Discovery and with Alex Kurtzman for a number of seasons. Some reports say it's 4, other reports say it's 5. And I would not be surprised if Discovery is just kind of reformatted into Strange New Worlds so that Netflix can foot the bill for this next season, because they've already kind of made it somewhat public, even though not official, that they're not footing the bill for Star Trek Discovery anymore. And they already said they're not footing the bill for Picard. And Amazon hasn't said anything with regards to a season 2 of Picard, even though a couple of the trades have said it is greenlit. I don't know who's paying for it, because CBS, I don't think they're going to get a loan for that. Yeah, so I'm really, really curious. And also, this is the show scheduled for fall of 2021, which means that they haven't even started production yet. Nor could they if they really wanted to. So expect that time also to be delayed probably to 2022, which I think would be the year Kurtzman Trek. It was Kurtzman Trek's last year, and I'm pretty sure Viacom CBS is not going to renew that contract after this is all said and done. The numbers are just piss poor.
Well, that would, if it's pushed all the way back to 2022, that means that they probably are going to make a optimistic and very positive future science fiction Star Trek.
Yeah. Basically, it's their last volley going down with the ship. We can only hope that, I guess, the 2 cartoon shows they're working on are going to be fun and interesting. But no one from the direct Kurtzman crowd is working on them, as far as I know. It's some animation writers from Rick and Morty and some other television shows that are working on those. So there's no Akiva Goldsman, there's no Michael Chabon, there's no Alex Kurtzman. So that's in their favor. So we could get some interesting Star Trek out of that.
Well, hopefully they put the Wile E. Coyote in there. I'd like to see the Coyote and the Roadrunner in that. Or even bringing the Simpsons. You could put the Simpsons in there. Star Trek: The Simpsons.
Things I absolutely love Rick and Morty. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not one of those people that think that you have to be intelligent to watch it or anything like that. It's just a fun show. But isn't he one of the writers anyway? Aren't they working on Doctor Strange?
Let me check on that, because I know Sam Raimi just recently got involved, and there might be a change of the script for that a little bit.
Okay. Because if that is the case and he's still working on Doctor Strange, surely he's not going to do another cartoon.
Can you give me that open thing?
Yeah. Well, the other difference is that with Marvel movies, they kind of work like a writer's room. So Kevin Feige's got his group of people that are supposed to plan out what they're going to do with their films, and they're under a very strict code. The writers who sort of do like they do like early drafts of the script, and then it goes to the final writer and the director to sort of refine it and fit within the Marvel framework and the Marvel formula that they've already established since Avengers.
Yeah, the cut and paste.
Yeah, like for instance, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, it wasn't entirely written by James Gunn. He had a co-writer, a young woman, I think Sullivan was her last name. And she did all the legwork for the early drafts first, and then James Gunn was brought in and he did his own take on it as well, and they worked together and they created the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. And then The sequel was, I think, mostly James Gunn from Inception.
Yes.
And that might be the case with regards to like Doctor Strange. I'm just trying to see here on my list.
Explains why the first Guardians of the Galaxy was better. There we go.
Yeah, a lot of people like the first one more because there's another voice for James Gunn to bounce off of.
Yep.
But if you're talking about Michael Waldron is the guy. So he's, I guess he's going to be working on the new Star Trek show, cartoon show. Name sounds familiar, but I don't. The last year there's a lot of staff writers from Rick and Morty that were writing their own spec scripts, which is basically like their own original ideas. And one of them was like a time traveling, I want to say comedy, but it wasn't very funny. It borrowed some of the Rick and Morty type jokes, but they just did not land well. The premise is pretty interesting. A woman goes back in time to kill a tyrant in her present, but ends up falling in love with the tyrant, and so she tries to change him so he doesn't become a tyrant, which is a great premise.
Yeah, I like that.
But it just goes off the rails really quick. And then she's like in prehistoric times, and she's able to communicate with raptors and like have full-on conversations with them. But they talk in a very contemporary form of language, which is also very strange. It wasn't very good. Great concept to terrible execution.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that wasn't Michael Waldron. I think that was Waldron. That was someone else. But so we don't know how these people are going to interact on their own with this content. Like even for myself, if they were to say, script doctor, you're going to write for Star Trek, I'd be like, holy crap! I really hope there's some other good writers in that room with me, because I know I'm going to send some stupid ideas, and I don't want to make sure I got someone who's honest enough with me to prevent that from happening or prevent that from getting off the page and onto the screen. So you have to really rely on the teamwork in those types of settings.
Well, I'd like to hope that you wouldn't suggest something as daft as like say Captain Pike talking to raptors, that talking contemporary American English. That sounds dreadful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also a little concerned by the promotional image they released of the show. It has Captain Pike holding a phaser rifle.
Yeah, I saw that with the wiggly.
Which is weird because yes, some landing parties go down armed, but it's not standard to just be in that situation.
I like to hope that was just oversight.
Well, it is definitely a photoshopped picture. They did not actually have anybody stand in to do that. That's all well done composites.
Well, I mean, Photoshop is a hell of a tool. Is PJ still there, or has he dozed off?
I'm here, guys. I am here. Sorry, I'm doing something. I did not see that image. Where did you guys see that image? On Twitter?
I think you can find it also on Variety. Variety's article for it.
If I still have it, I'll send it. Yeah, because I download everything. So I'm just like that.
What, one of the three that are all three of them sitting together?
No, it's like an S image, if you will, like a black image.
It's got like a swoop, and the tip of it is the Enterprise, the Kurtzman Enterprise, and in the swoop itself is your vista of an alien planet with Pike standing on it, his back to the camera, and in his right hand is a phaser rifle.
I swear I sent that to someone recently. I wonder if I did.
Oh, I see it right now.
Do you?
I have it pulled up on Twitter right now.
Pop it in. Pop it in.
You want to share it?
I can share it.
I don't see it. Okay. You want to share it?
There, I shared.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, okay.
Part of me also thinks this is just going to placate a lot, because they're saying exploration is a promise, because we haven't seen any of that in 3 seasons of Star Trek that Kurtzman has provided us.
True enough.
So So will they actually show us a strange new world with a new species that we haven't seen before, with a new culture and a new conflict for the crew of the Enterprise to overcome? That's what I would really like to see, and hopefully it done well.
It's claiming on there that it's supposed to be out fall of 21.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's
But Star Trek Discovery was supposed to be out in January of 2016, and it got delayed to the fall of 2016. So
exactly.
Picard's supposed
fall
to be
21
out
is a while.
Yeah.
Fall 21 is a whiles away, though. That's
Yeah,
still...
16 months.
That ain't
roughly.
long. That'll just come around like that. Honestly. Yeah, but we all laugh at that, but like 2 minutes ago it was January. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they should do. You're right. Script Doctor and everybody here, I think, agrees that they should just do virgin territory. I mean, space is so vast that you can always be coming up with just virgin situations, and have them do exploration, because they haven't been doing exploration.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. No, there's lots of room for there to have fun, because in the Next Generation, I think Wesley Crusher talked about how only like 7 or 8% of the galaxy had been charted from the Federation side of things. So cut that in half and say that's where the time frame of Pike is. You still have lots to play around with. And I like the idea of a larger galaxy. One of my critiques of the Next Generation in the Berman era is how small the galaxy became from everything in there. Like Deep Space Nine especially, they combined like the alpha, beta, and gamma quadrants together to the point where you had this massive war for the galaxy that took place in the alpha quadrant. And you're like, well, as far as I knew at that time, it's like really there's like a dozen planets that we know about that are actually in the alpha quadrant with like big infrastructures and whatnot, and you have the Klingons in the beta quadrant and Romulans and all that stuff. But it just kind of shrunk it all down to the point where they're saying it's the entire fate of the alpha quadrant in this Dominion war, and it's like, well, didn't they just say that they only explored like 7 or 8% of it in the Next Generation? So it's really only 7 or 8% of the alpha quadrant we're worried about here. But no, they shrunk it down, and they were traveling all over that thing.
When did the Klingons end up in the beta quadrant?
Well, Earth's border it borders on the beta quadrant. So
yeah.
Okay, when did that happen? Was that always forever, or was that something that happened in like Next Gen or something?
That'd be in the Next Gen time frame, because I don't think they actually defined the quadrants in the original series.
Okay. I know that sounds like a really basic thing, but it's always bothered me that you've got Sulu chart in the beta quadrant. Yeah, it's never really been sort of chatted about much. Whereas, like, oh yeah, Delta Quadrant's miles away, but Beta Quadrant isn't. I know it's a really weird gripe, but like, it's just been a bit odd to me. That's all.
Yeah, well, that's that would be. So I was Undiscovered Country. So yeah, that was right after the Next Gen kind of established their sort of new galaxy rules there. Yeah, the whole quadrant thing is really cool, but by the time you get to Voyager, and then once that completes, you get to Nemesis, and Picard essentially forges an alliance with Romulus. You're like, okay, where's the conflict now? If the Federation's now allies with the Klingons and the Romulans and the Cardassians to some degree, and all that stuff, you have to invent another species for them to have, for them to be an antagonist, so to speak. And also with all the new technology they keep introducing in Star Trek to make it more and more futuristic, it's like you're kind of fast approaching a wall to the point where it's just going to be no longer a suspension of disbelief. They're going to be able to do anything, especially with the miracle of the deflector dish, which occurred in Voyager, where you can solve everything with that sucker. My understanding was all it did was prevent you from getting struck by tiny and large asteroids where you're traveling at warp speed. But no, apparently it's an emitter. It can fold space time. It can do everything.
You can destroy
like the best
board
device
games.
on the ship, and
It can even microwave your dinner.
yeah, pretty much. I call it the deflector ex machina, because whenever you need to have a problem, just solve it with the main deflector, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I saw your message, 14. I know you're in the UK. You got to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm absolutely knackered. I did 2 hours sleep last night.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging in there, guys. I appreciate it, 14. I'm actually east of you, and I just realized that I hit a brick wall myself. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like
so,
hour ahead. So it's what, like 2, 3, nearly 3 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. here.
Yeah.
I was gonna. Hey, Script Doctor. It's been. I don't remember if you've been on the channel before, so I want to thank you for joining us.
Oh yeah, I really appreciate the invite. I know we've been trying to work something out for a while now, but yeah, this one. I'm all alone in my apartment for the next half hour or so. So I started getting some work, and I saw you guys were on and listening to what you had to say, and yeah. So
Awesome.
I love the channel, of course. Yeah.
I would love to have you on for some Orville talk, and I want to, I will extend another invitation, and I want to thank Jamal and DJ and Number One and for joining us as well. Do you guys want to plug your channels at for Tian? You go ahead first.
Right. Well, the channel is YouTube / Ravenaki or whatever I think it's called. But yeah, check me out, 14 Barber. If you want to come on and cut your own hair while I guide you, as I actually am a genuine barber, I will do that. But also every single Monday, I have chats with Adega Outlaw, where we chomp into 14 and unusual things, high strangeness, if you will.
And I'm putting up your channel here. I'm just putting up your channel here. We're good. And Script Actor, you don't have a channel.
I do. I just haven't been making content for the past month. I've been doing some writing work to occupy my time, and also I'm in a relationship, so I have to give attention to my girlfriend.
You have a life, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's no better or worse than anyone else's, but I have some responsibilities that've been distracting, and also I was without internet for like 15 hours yesterday, so yeah, I'm just trying to catch up on some stuff. But
oh wow,
yeah, you can also find me on Twitter. That's where I post things and tell people where I'm going to be showing up usually. So yeah.
I will post your Twitter up right now, and you guys, you're also part of that Pegasus podcast on Thursdays, right?
Yes, that is right. So Drew Taylor, my good friend, he has a channel called Supreme Heretic, and on Thursdays we do retro reviews of Battlestar Galactica, the Ron Moore 2004 series, and that's Thursdays at 9. We've been off for a couple weeks, 2 weeks due to personal issues, but nothing that we can't resolve, nothing crazy, just life getting in the way. But we're hoping to be back next week, and we hope to see all you Battlestar Galactica fans there with us as we talk, because we're just in the early episodes of season 2, so we're getting on with the story, and it's a great story. So come check us out and participate in the chat. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. And DJ, do you want to tell us real quick about your channel?
Well, before I do that real quick, I threw in Script Doctor's link to his YouTube channel.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Thanks, gotcha. DJ.
No,
it's been
problem.
a while since I streamed with you. I'm not at. I don't have a day job, so I can't actually join into your chats as much anymore.
Yeah, I know, and it's nice to actually be up on the chat with you instead of just throwing up crazy boxy theories.
There's that too, but I love the boxy theories.
But yeah, I'm the odd one. I just I do some ramblings at times, but a lot right now are just live streams where I just invite people up and we discuss whatever's going on for the day, be it Star Trek, Doctor Who, this, that, everything, and even play some games.
And have the occasional onesie costume, eh?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on the onesies since the birthday party when I went through all of them and got really toasted. Yeah, I'm gonna.
And Jamal, you don't have a channel right now, right?
Well, I kind of share one with a friend. We got Trek Prime that we do on YouTube.
Okay, so let me put up. That's a good. By the way, that's great content. Your Trek Prime content is great. I didn't know if you wanted me to mention that or not. I'm going to put that. Yeah, anybody who's a Star Trek fan, the breakdown those guys are doing is nice. It's really nice.
And on Twitter, I go by the Big J. That's my handle on Twitter. And I also have sort of like another channel on YouTube where I just talk about anything. That's called Ordinary Talk, and I just react to what goes on in the day or something. So that's it.
Can you throw that in the private chat because I'm not seeing it? And number one, I just put up your channel. I'm going to put it up again. Do you want to say something about your channel, number one?
On Monday through Friday at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing my 15 minutes of positivity streams.
Oh,
in the morning. So I did that. Been doing that. I think a week and a half now, basically.
I like that. That's cool. That's very cool. Okay, I'm putting up number ones, and yeah. So guys, thanks for jumping on, and thanks for. Hopefully, we'll have you guys back soon. Thanks for talking Trek and Peggy, who also jumped on, and Captain Trek. I hope that everybody everybody here is very passionate about Star Trek, and I hope that everybody. I hope we just get some decent Trek. That's all I can. And if not, we got the Orville.
Really quick, I'd just like to throw out there too. If you do happen to have maybe a buck or two to spare, Captain Trek could use some help with his surgery costs. I just want to throw that out real quick.
Yeah, and I'm gonna.
He's got the link in the chat.
There you go. Yeah, Captain Trek's. Yeah, it's for life-saving surgery, abdominal reconstruction. If anybody can throw some money his way, please do, guys. And thank you, DJ.
I'll steal a line from Jerry Lewis. Even a buck will do. Help a buck.
Even a buck. Yes, even a buck.
That's what you can afford. Throw a buck.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you very much, and I want to Jamal. Do you got that link?
I'll have to send that to you. You could put it on there.
All right,
because, like I said, every time
gotcha.
I try that, it just.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right, guys. Well, I want to say thank you to DJ, thank you to Script Doctor, thank you to Fortean, thank you to Number One Sci-Fi, thank you to Jamal, Captain Trek, Let's Talk Trek, and Peggy, who were also on. Thank you, Mr. Lundell, Rose, Jeff, Jim Henry, Captain Trek, Daniel, Phi, everybody who's been in here, Daniel, Trey, Adega, everybody who's been in here and who's still in here hanging with us. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night, Rose. Have a great night, Ellie. Everybody, have a great night. Stay safe. Bye.
Yeah, you too. Cheers. Take care.